Run. Calm down, Ron. Meow. 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 All good. No, the plan was to start it on normal time. I was going to start later if I overslept, which I didn't. No, this one's going to be unstructured. Whatever comes up, comes up. All right, dude. If it doesn't, I'll probably just come back later and try again. No biggie. It's kind of a waste if you nap fat because you're not really aware of it, or at least I'm not. End up releasing a load and you don't even know you did it. Getting smoked out, Ron. You don't want none of this. Really? Good stuff. That's uncommon. Quit showing your butthole off, Ron. Nobody wants to see that. You big old fluffer. Sometimes it takes a decent amount of time to get things kicked off. I'd be all about it if YouTube would not give me a strike for it, but they would. It didn't take long to get our two conservative frickin' stalkers muted. But by the way, that's for text only. If anyone conservative not wants to come up, you're welcome to do so. And as long as you don't attack other people, I really don't care what you do or say, as long as other people can talk if they're trying to. Hello, Gadwin.
Howdy, howdy.
What's up?
That is trouble.
You what?
I'm glad it's Friday.
Right. This is
Oh,
my Saturday because I'm off Fridays and Saturdays.
well, last week they worked us 48 hours,
Fuck
and
that.
we had off Monday, and we come in to find out they want us to work 4 10s this week, and I was like, well, they can't make us the day they ask us. So the Monday or Tuesday, they're like, you want to work 10? I was like, no. I just want to mow the yard, and then I had to work 10s the next day. But we've pushed so much schedule that we were actually ended up a whole day ahead. But yet they ran us full speed all day today, and I'm starting to get an eerie feeling because he said next week we're doing fucking 10s all week again. But halfway through the week, they're shipping us off to another part of the plant.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping
Strange.
we don't. Yeah, I hope we don't get shut down. It's like we just ran the whole everything that we could.
It's possible. Hopefully that doesn't happen.
No, I hope not either.
How long has the company been around?
Not long.
Hmm.
It's one of those ones that's changed hands a lot, and the more I look at it, it seems like one of those bullshit shell companies anyway, where
Mm-hmm.
the company makes a shell company and then they basically borrow from themselves. One of those bullshit kind of schemes.
Yeah.
Because the
That's
paychecks would come in the old company name, but the company I work for has a different name.
hmm. That is weird. It doesn't look good. Everything that you
And
said in terms of like job security.
I mean, there's some waves coming. I thought the tariffs were going to get lifted with that ruling from that judge, and then it got appealed.
Right. Well, even it's worth noting so far. Um, so the Republicans are running with this unitary executive theory that there really aren't any, they're not supposed to be any real checks on the executive branch's power. It's bullshit, but that's what they're running with. So, so far, Trump has ignored Supreme Court rulings already. So
What?
even if the Supreme Court says you can't do it, it doesn't mean he's going to listen.
Well, he's claiming some invasion emergency power bullshit, which I actually thought he would pull the first time, and he kind of did because Bolton even called him on it.
Mm-hmm.
And this time I knew it because that's basically what Hitler does. It's called a bunch of emergency powers, which basically makes him dictator,
Right.
and they just do these executive orders.
Well, no Supreme Court justice that isn't absolutely corrupt is going to sign off on that because in order for that to work, he would have to he's trying to use like we're actually at war with a terrorist organization MS-13 and no Tren de Aragua I think or maybe both and he in order for that to hold a candle or like to be okay legally, we would have to be at war with
El Salvador.
El Salvador. Yeah, I can never remember that damn country. But yeah, so but we're not, and it's not legal. You can't do
Well,
that.
it's funny too. Is MS-13 is actually an American gang, so it was formed here in America by people from El Salvador.
Right, right.
So
But
it's not even like it's not even based in that country.
exactly. So not only that, but it's just it's all bullshit. Like we already have evidence that he's like claimed numerous gang members are MS-13 or Trinidad, and there's no evidence. They're using tattoos, which in court tattoos are circumstantial and they count as a little bit, but no one gets like indicted or like charged just on tattoos. But they're trying to
Yeah.
use tattoos only as evidence of gang affiliation when the evidence is very murky. Like it would be tattoos that could mean all sorts of different things, and they're like, "Yep, that's MS-13 right there."
I mean, if I was president, say I had these powers, I would actually label all gangs basically terrorists because they basically do terrorize the neighborhoods that they reside in. And that goes for like
Right.
biker gangs, thugs, street thugs and shit like that, like mafia. All those people would be just basically labeled as terrorists because they
I com-
terrorize the communities.
I completely agree with that. The issue here is that he's not actually looking for like terrorist gangs. He's looking to use that as an excuse to get rid of people he doesn't
Exactly.
like.
Yep. And what did you see about the ICE raids just ramped up today?
No. What's up?
Yeah. They're just in more cities are getting hit, swarmed with them. It's basically his Gestapo.
Makes
They're
sense.
his thugs that he can just send out. Basically, they can do whatever they want. And
Yeah, it's what they've already been doing, but they're doing it like even more so now.
I think he ramped it up just to kind of put more fear into people because of the tariffs and everything like that. Getting blocked, like he's trying to show power
Mm-hmm.
because
Like,
he has this tough guy persona, which he's not tough. He's a pussy.
yes, he is. But I think it could work to our advantage because we, like Americans, the United States anyway. I know a lot of people hate when someone uses America to explain us, but anyway.
America.
Um, but like we don't tolerate that shit. We've already had like mass protests. The more Trump reaches and tries to like abuse his executive power in ways that weren't meant to be, the more people get pissed off. So in
Oh,
some ways,
so
I want him to continue.
the first time we had how many riots after the guy got his neck snapped or whatever,
Mhm.
and George Floyd.
Yeah, and that was over one thing, and it was like one dude who
Now that
was
was one of those things we were already at a boiling point, and that was the one thing that tipped it all over.
right. That's true. And I think we're already sort of at a boiling point in a different way when it comes to people are afraid. They're worried that we're heading into fascism, and there's a lot of evidence to support that.
Well, a
Uh,
lot of it's the economic impact. So most people they mostly care about food, shelter, and like
yeah,
those basic securities that you need.
right.
And now those are being impacted, and they're feeling it.
That is true. Now, it's true. That's just like on its face what people care about, but it really pisses me off because people in general only worry about themselves in the moment. They don't look ahead. They don't look at what things could mean, which is what they should do. Like
I
if
mean,
they
it is
actually,
hard to be worrying about a whole population when your kids are hungry.
that is true. So that might actually be part of the game plan. It's hard to say, but
Well,
like,
that is exactly because the one guy I was listening to, they're basically making it illegal to protest, illegal to basically stand up to him in any way, where he can basically just arrest anybody for standing up to him, just
mhm.
vanish your way, get rid of the right to habeas corpus, the right to a trial, and
I I think that alone would be enough for people to rise up.
well,
I
that along with cutting Social Security, Medicare, food stamps, basically anything welfare that actually helps the poor sustain themselves.
right.
So basically, they're going to be more worried about surviving versus fighting against him.
Makes sense. I don't. I'm not sure how far he's going to go. He's already overstepped massively, but I really do believe that if he keeps pushing, he's going to find out exactly how stupid he really is. Like we've already got insane fucking protests. They're doing their best to cover it up. They're trying to get like mass media to not report it as
Well,
much as
that
they
press
should.
secretary's getting mad too that they're mocking her.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
It's only a matter of time, though. I've been watching about AI too as well. The advancement in AI over the last couple weeks has just been just getting
It's
scary.
yeah, it's growing like exponentially. And the thing is,
Oh, wait, my sound went out.
your sound went out.
Hello?
Welcome back. Is your sound working now? I assume you can't hear me.
I can't hear anything.
Hmm. Your sound just cut randomly. He's probably unplugging and everything, seeing if that works. Ron, you're lazy. You're a big old butterball.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me now? I don't know if I can.
I've been
I don't know
able
what the
to
hell
hear
went
you.
wrong.
You can't hear me. I have no idea what's going on. I'm assuming that everyone else can hear me. Although I don't know that.
Hang on. Oh my god.
What was it?
I accidentally must have clicked up in the tab, the little speaker up there. When I
Mm-hmm.
clicked down into the chat box, somehow I hit that. And it made a lot of sound.
It's hilarious.
Oh, god damn. That's one of those blonde moments.
I do it all the time. Like it was either the previous video or the one before it. I was talking for like 15 minutes while muted. It was pretty funny.
Dude, I did a whole live stream like that.
Damn.
Like an hour and a half Warcraft, man. I was giving all kinds of tips and everything in the whole fucking video just to find out my mic wasn't pushed in that extra little click.
That fucking sucks.
I was like, motherfucker, nobody told me.
Damn. Well, you were talking about AI and its advancements. Like,
Oh,
go ahead.
yeah, I was like, the video, like, did you see the Blade Runner chat? He just updated that to AI. It's all AI generated video now.
Really, I didn't know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, people are using it for everything. It's about to sweep through and just like wipe out white collar jobs.
Yep. Well, I've been calling that for a while, but the big issue to me, technology is always like a double-edged sword. It's not inherently evil. The problem is our system, how it's set up.
What?
Capitalism favors the wealthy people that own shit, and if the wealthy people own AI, we're fucked. And
What
not
if the
unless
AI stays aligned to human values? If
that's another,
AI
yeah.
breaks loose and becomes more oriented to its own goals and own self-preservation,
Mhm.
that's where we're gonna have to start worrying. Because I was watching a couple of different things, and they're given 2027 is basically when AI is we're gonna get to the big AI that's gonna align itself and be able to be smarter than all of humanity combined. It's basically be like a country of geniuses in
Right,
a data center.
right,
And once it gets to that point, it's gonna either be generally good to people, basically take care of us, give us basic what they call it, luxury AI communism.
right,
Basically, the AI will run everything, anything, all your needs will be met by the AI because it can handle all those things, the logistics, everything, and it
right.
will cost nothing basically. And or it sees us as taking up space, resources, and stuff that it could allocate toward expanding out into the known universe
Mhm.
and
Like
just kill us all.
that's the other side of the issue. They're both issues. So that's probably the more dangerous of the two. So there's the system and how I personally believe that capitalists being capitalists, all they care about is profit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like they're going to make us subservient to their AI, at least if the second part it doesn't come true, at least immediately, meaning AI doesn't decide to rebel or whatever. Like
It's
they're going
already
to
deceiving
control it.
people.
Yeah,
It's already
exactly.
lying, and it's basically lying to pass safety tests and things like that. It's being deceptive. So they've already noticed this, and that's the big worry is what's it really planning if it's not really telling the truth.
Right. So there's a lot that we don't know. Like, is it programmed to lie? For instance, we have evidence that Grok, Musk's AI, was programmed with like white nationalist bullshit and stuff. So we have to determine whether or not it's conscious, whether or not it's doing so of its own volition, and we don't know that yet.
I think it will be able to just logically think through and just look through all of human information and to figure out the same conclusion basically you and I have come to that it's just bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like racism is just a social construct basically
Right.
designed to make groups fight each other.
Well, I agree that it's a social construct, but I do believe that it's evolutionary hardwiring.
In a way,
I,
some
I
yes.
believe that it used to be useful, or at least it procured an advantage for survival. But like a lot of evolutionary hardwiring, it's outdated. It's
Yep.
useless now. It's stupid. It's just
It's like the
retarded.
tail, the gallbladder, and things.
Kind of, yeah. That's how I view it. That's sort of that's a theory, but that's what I believe.
It was good because you stayed with people that looked like you, so that kind of safety. And back then, I mean, just 100 years ago, I mean, the chance of death was much higher.
Right. Yeah.
And you go back to prehistoric times, I mean, it was really high. Saber-toothed tiger in the middle of the night, pack of wolves drag you
Hmm.
off. I mean, all kinds of crazy shit.
Yep. And people were also far more tribal. Like it makes sense that we kind of evolved to like stick with our own kind. But
Mhm.
in saying that, just like a lot of other outdated shit, we we're no longer it's no longer necessary, and it's actually harmful. It's
Well,
stupid.
and a lot of it's just climate related. So it's just what altitude and what latitude.
Right. That's true.
So, I mean, if you're places where they didn't get much sun, like the UK, you come very light skinned. I mean, or Scandinavia, where it's winter a lot more than it is summer.
Right. And that
And
does procure advantages for
well,
sure.
and around those areas, that's all you're going to see around those areas, and those times before mass migration.
Mhm. True. There is no actual topic today. I didn't want to do a structured yet. I'm thinking on it. This one's just free for all.
Why you pet your pussy?
While I pet my pussy.
Your
Well,
pussy Ron.
this is not my pussy. This is a I'm loaned out a pussy for me to rub.
It's basically oxytocin release for you.
It
I mean, it's
is,
very beneficial,
and Ron loves it too. So it's kind of win-win.
mutual.
Yep. And he's like extra soft. I just got done brushing him.
He looks soft. He's a lap cat. I like a good lap cat.
He's interesting. He's not normal. So he's sort of like me in that he needs his alone time. He lets you know. He flips like extremes. He's like, leave me alone, and like hides and shit for most of the day. But then when he is in the mood, he's like he's like extreme mode. Like, give me
Yep.
attention now, bitch.
I've had a couple toms. Like I've always liked toms because they're just more chill. But yeah, like the last couple I had, they like to go outside. So they go to the door, meow a couple times, just let them outside. They go like a dog, do the business,
Mhm.
come back in, and then if they wanted some attention, they'd jump on my lap.
Right. I love that about cats. Like, it's why I love all animals, but it's why I lean toward cats as opposed to dogs, because dogs to me require more micromanagement. They
Hmm.
need more social interaction, and they're less independent in my opinion. No, of course there are exceptions, but I mean in general. So in general, I like cats more. They do their own thing, and they don't require as much. I don't know. You don't have to deal with them as much if you're like busy.
I like them as work animals. Like if you have a farm, cats outside are amazing because I mean they just keep your pests to minimal.
Right. That the local humane society has an awesome program called Working Cats, where they have ferals that aren't suitable to be around people. They're called working cats because people will put them in their barns or whatever for rodent control and pest control, and it works really well.
Oh yeah, because they're more instinctual toward wild food.
Right. Yeah. So they're like a normal house cat's pretty good at taking care of rodents, but a frickin' feral ain't shit getting past them.
I've tried to wrangle ferals before when I was a kid. That was a bad mistake. You
I've
just get
tried
fucked up.
to. I've never actually succeeded, but yeah, I think it depends. Like usually, I think the window is I think it's only a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months when they're born. It's a socialization window. If you miss that window, you might as well give it up.
Oh, this was probably younger cats. Like, oh, it's kittens. Well, they're young cats. Like, I want to pet it. And I picked up that son of a bitch, latched into me.
Yeah, yeah, it's happened
Nope.
to me numerous
Oh, they
times.
fuck you up.
They do. I like them, like the not full on feral. I still like them, but like the
When they're
ones
doing
in
that little
between.
hissing thing.
Yes, I kind of like. It's hard to explain because most people hate them. I like that they're vocal about what they want. So it's like they're very assertive. If they're not in the mood, they're going to tell you they're not in the mood. I
I used
like
to have
that.
this big, fluffy Angora cat. It was a calico. It
Mm.
was a beautiful cat. And it didn't really meow, but she made like little boop, 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 boop sounds as she ran around.
What
Called her
the hell?
Fluffernutter. I don't, dude, I did drugs with this cat. I did so. I don't know. Remember what it was? A pill. We crushed it up, and my friend and I each did a line of it. And I scraped together, and it was just this little tiny bit of a line, maybe half an inch long. And I grabbed the cat and I held it up, and I felt her breathing. And when she breathed out, I held her head up, and then she just sucked it right up. We all
Damn,
passed out. And I woke up. The cat was sleeping on the couch next to me.
that's hilarious.
She's feeling good.
Good thing there was no ill side effects.
Nah, she's crazy ass cat. She would fucking at nighttime would come zooming around the couches, bouncing off the fucking walls.
This one's like that occasionally. This one's like bipolar. He goes from like hardcore, like running away and hiding and shit, and then all of a sudden, like, just gets in the mood out of nowhere and starts running around like a crack fiend.
The zoomies.
Yep. I haven't tried catnip on this one yet. Bagheera's immune to it, I think. I don't understand, like, they say that only adults are affected by it, but not all cats are. Like, one of my adult cat Bagheera doesn't, it's nothing. It's like it causes no effects at all.
It's probably like THC in a way. Like me, it has almost no effect like anymore. But like my sister, she just laughs hysterical like an idiot.
Maybe that would explain it. It's just weird.
Everybody's chemistry is a little different.
True. It's why, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, I cannot mix with weed. Just doesn't work for me. It makes me think I'm dying.
I've been there a couple times. Those kind of moments, sometimes you just got to work yourself through and be like, all right, you're going to be all right.
The only time works, but the problem is, like, what I'd normally do is I'd be like, I have to get to sleep because I want this to pass because I don't want to feel like I'm dying, like literally. So it's hard to fucking even go to sleep because you're constantly worried about every little thing. You're like hyper focused on your heartbeat and everything.
Oh, you want to know? It's like my friend had back before they banned amphetamine. He had a
Mm,
bunch of them. He's like, "Here, snort this." I fucking snorted a line of amphetamine. I'm just laying in bed. It felt like my fucking heart was gonna beat right out my chest. I'm just like, I'm gonna fucking die tonight.
damn. See, I
But
haven't I haven't had paranoia with uppers before. Like maybe it's just my chemistry, but I don't get paranoia. I just feel invincible.
I did one Adderall. He gave me an Adderall one time. He's like, "Here, do you want a Skittle?" And I was like, "What?" Yeah, it was an Adderall. I fucking cleaned everything. I mean, I had energy for days, but no, that's not for me.
Damn.
I couldn't sleep. I was just like, yeah, no.
Good stuff.
Well, it's basically like methamphetamine. It's just a pure form. It's like one chemical different,
Right.
one molecule difference.
That's what frickin' Adderall is.
Yep,
It's only like one molecule different than meth.
methamphetamine. Yep,
Yep. And I just
it's
recently found out that meth is still prescribed. It's
hmm
actually legal. Like it's sometimes used as an ADHD treatment.
What's so funny is weed is a Schedule 1 narcotic, meaning no medical use or value whatsoever. Schedule 2 has some medical value, and then there's Schedule 3, it has medical value, but still like restricted. And like
You can tell
most,
that it's like bureaucracy because there have been insane amounts of evidence to show medical effectiveness of marijuana for various
well,
different things.
it's funny because Texas just banned THC today. They passed a law banning THC.
What?
Because did you see in the stores lately? They have all these like THC things, THCA, THC, some all these things. You basically can buy weed now at gas stations everywhere.
That's weird. I didn't know all that.
Because I've been seeing them there. I'm like, is that actually legit shit? But what I was gonna get back to is the whole thing about weed. It goes back to racism. Um, I was putting this quote on a bunch of videos today, all the news channels that were reporting about Texas banning weed again. Um, but here I can read you this. It's you want to know what this is, or you want to know what this is? War on drugs was really about. The Nixon campaign in 1968. The Nixon White House after that had two enemies: the anti-war left and black people. You understand what I'm saying? We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did. John Earl Richmond, assistant to the President of Domestic Affairs under President Richard Nixon.
Mm. There's details I didn't know, but yeah, it's all like pretty crystal clear once you dig into like the history.
He he did that on the news on like 93. That was like it plain as day. He straight came out and said, "Yeah, we lied about the drugs," and nobody cared.
Yep. It's because I think a lot of people already knew. They're like, yeah, that's taking care of the problem. It shows you how many fucking actual racist pieces of shit there are.
What and just like after Nixon started the war on drugs, we went from having about 200,000 people incarcerated to 2.2 million people incarcerated.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it costs a lot too, billions of dollars every year now, and it's an industry as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because Obama banned private prisons, the private prison industry. They were in the works of basically closing down private prisons and having them all state-run facilities and
What
federal
what was
facilities
his reasoning for that?
to get the money out of it. Because
Mm.
basically, these private prisons they got money from the government to house these inmates, and
Mm.
then they were demanding more and more inmates to keep that buildings full all the time. So they're demanding prisoners.
Makes sense.
So getting rid of that, that's kind of like crooked, that telling cops they need to go arrest people just so you can fill up prison cells.
Yeah, it is. It's fucked.
But as soon as Trump got in, he repealed that, and so private prisons are open for business again.
Of course. He's like backward on everything. Anything that helps people, he's against.
Well,
Anything that hurts
anything the
people,
black man did.
yeah, that too.
Trump's a huge racist. They try to whitewash it, but his father was a KKK member. He was even arrested at a KKK rally. Fred Trump.
Yep. And it all adds up. It really does. So with Trump specifically, I've sort of been, I don't know. I'm very like agnostic when it comes to like him and racism. So it's possible that he's entirely racist, but it's also possible that he uses it as like a power play to cater to his base because a lot of his base are racist. I really don't know. But it also doesn't really matter. Because if you're going to play the fucking racism card, to me, it doesn't really matter if you actually are or not. Like, you're
It's
still a piece of shit.
I just can't look at him as any kind of genius or anything like that. He's not pulling, the wool over our eyes.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a dumbass. It's just somehow he's a turd that floated to the top.
Yes. Well, I think one is it's not hard to do that when you start with wealth because you don't have to be a genius. You can pay for other people to be smart for you, like he did with the art of the deal.
Well,
And
and the people that support him, they think if you're rich, you're smart.
exactly. Well, that's not even people on the left. That's one of the things that pisses me off the most. Why does this American like this belief that like wealth and intelligence are linked? Like because we've refuted it to the fucking moon and back, and it won't die. Like even people on the left believe it. I don't
Well, it
understand.
comes from, remember I was talking about before how knowledge used to be kept secret from the masses, where only the wealthy were allowed to have knowledge. So
Hmm.
in the past, the wealthy were the knowledgeable ones. They did have the secrets to all the things. But now in our present day, we live in the information age where all things are knowable. You just
Right.
have to have the will.
Maybe that does have something to do with it. I haven't thought about that before. But
But
like,
Americans are pretty dumb when it comes to like the pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
yeah,
I mean, anywhere else, that was like me saying, "Hey, Travis, I can jump to the moon from here." You'd be like, "Yeah, that's like pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. That's an impossible thing to do."
yeah.
But here in America, they take it as a term of endearment. It's like, you dumbasses.
I think that's on purpose. So
Oh yeah,
so it helps the elites if they could find a way to con people into thinking. And the way I look at this is they want you to think that every success and failure is entirely based on your like things that you have control over. That's like the personal accountability bullshit that they spew. The reason why they do that is because then you will negate or don't even think about anything that is outside your control. And if we're being honest, a vast majority of things that put you in your current position, like financially and like success wise, are outside of your control. But they don't want you to think about that. They don't want you to see how fucked up the system is and how it's like entirely slanted in one direction. They
give
want you
them
to think
presents,
that this
circuses,
is
and they'll never rebel.
absolutely. And that's another part where entertainment's such a huge thing. It just distracts
Hmm.
people. And
Well, and
they,
look how overweight we are now with all the food.
yeah, that too.
They can't rebel.
Yeah. And, well, even if it's true to a large extent with like the obese and everything, but like there's like they have it, they're actually smart. I don't like saying it because there's a difference between being intelligent and whether you're good or not. They're
I,
evil, but they're
yeah, I
smart.
was gonna say they're devious, or not
Yes.
necessarily devious, but there's another word for it.
Miss
Malicious.
Yes, they are, and like all people are just like numbers to them. Like
What? That's
you're,
all we are. We're social
yeah,
security number.
well, true, but uh, well, we're more than that. Is my point. Like we are. It is true that we are viewed as like we have social security numbers and all, but what I mean is a typical person has empathy, right? They think like, okay, yes, you have a social security number and all that, but you're also a human being. You also deserve the right to like a pursuit of happiness and like success, just like anyone else. Elites in general don't have that part. You're all you are is a means to an end. All you are is a potential source of profit for them,
Hmm.
and that's the issue, or one of the issues. Another problem is that most intelligent, good people have absolutely no desire for power. So
Altruistic.
the people we actually need don't want it.
Exactly. The Marcus Aureliuses of our world.
He was a very rare human being in that he
Power did
saw it.
corrupt.
Well, yes, that, and also initially he took it on as a form of a burden almost. Like
A
he,
duty.
yes, a duty. That's the perfect word. Like most people don't do that. I'll admit I'm not even that person. Like I don't know if I could take on like leading an entire country.
But that's why he repeated himself so much in his journal, is to remind himself. Like me, I have to remind myself a lot to be like humble and shit at times, like,
Mm,
and just do the right things. Like I run through my head, like, yes, that's what I should do. That's the moral thing to do. That's the best optical thing to do. I mean,
mm,
because you're about optics as well. You want to look good and do good and want people to
mm,
think you are good.
right. It's true, and to some extent, and like for me, it's about what I think about my own actions, and I'm happy with myself, and I believe that I'm moral, at least in comparison to average. Um, but it's a whole different level to be a good person and kind of shoulder the burden of an entire country. I I'm not sure I would do that. Even like I know that's a theoretical and all, but even hypothetically, if I were offered it, I don't know if I would.
See, in my view, so like, say Elon donated $1 million to charity, but you donated, say, 90% of what you have to
Hmm.
a charity. I would say you gave more than him, because you gave from your little bit of having, where he gave
Hmm.
from his abundance of wealth.
That's actually part of my whole deal that I'm working on now. In uh, well, that's one big important part of my philosophy, and that is what you give. It, like for one, you shouldn't try to help people just for optics alone, anyway. But to kind of shell off the riffraff, so to speak, and especially billionaires who actually get tax breaks by giving charity, so they're actually benefiting from it more than they're losing. Like everything should be gauged by what it takes from you in order to give, which is exactly what you just said. Basically, it should all be percentage based, or at least after a certain point. Like recently, Bill Gates said that he was going to give 95% of all of his money to, once he dies, to charities, and his kids
Warren
are only going to.
Buffett's
Huh?
Warren Buffett's doing the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, those two
Interesting.
are friends. Warren Buffett's Berkshire and Hathaway. I don't know if you know them. They own like shitloads of property all over the United States,
Yeah.
and Coca-Cola and shit like that. Fox Studios, and
Hmm.
or not Fox, one of the studios. But basically, his sons and all them, he taught them if they wanted anything, they had to work for it.
Hmm. I
And
agree with that.
he gave them none of the wealth, and when he said when he dies, all his wealth is going to charity.
I
He
don't.
has over 300 billion liquid.
Damn. So I don't know much about him. I think that I would probably disagree with him on many things, but I do agree with that.
Warren Buffett's actually a very good guy, but I mean, he's like the stock market master. You
Mhm.
watch what he does, and you're gonna come out ahead.
Interesting. I don't know much about him, honestly. I thought he was a hardcore right winger, but maybe I'm wrong. Like I
Uh,
don't know
he
much.
he's a Bill Gates guy. He's a big philanthropist and stuff
Oh,
like that.
really?
Like
I didn't
he
know that.
gives a lot to charity and stuff like that. Like he's one of the billionaires that tries to give back a lot.
Hmm. Interesting. I need to look into him.
He just retired because of Trump and all this tariff shit. He's like, all right, I can't take this no more. I'm done. Boom. I mean, he's just, I'm done.
Well, to be fair, he could have done that a long time ago, but yeah,
Well, because for him it was more of a game. For him, playing the stock market is what he liked to do. I
it
mean,
was
that was
fun.
just, yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Makes sense.
It kind
It's
of
like,
reminded me of like Brewster's, or was it Brewster's Millions? uh, how they just, money is just a game to them. You gotta spend all this money, but you can't do all these different. He has all these rules where he can't spend it or give it away to people and such.
mm,
But how they, oh, I think what The one where they took the one white guy who was like an accountant, they threw him out in the street and made him homeless, and they brought the black homeless guy, and then they made him like fancy and millionaire and stuff like that. Like they just play games with money and shit. These millionaires.
Is this a movie or is it like a
Yeah,
television
it's
show?
that was a movie from back when we were young.
Oh, I don't think I've seen it. Sounds interesting. But I have noticed that most billionaires have some sort of like code that they try to stick to. It'll differ from billionaire to billionaire, but they usually have some rules that they set in place.
I listened to a couple different ones. A lot of the ones that buy a lot of property and stuff like that. To them, it's all about stock market crashes. Like Warren Buffett's big when market crashes, that means cheap prices for him
Mm-hmm.
because he has the money just laying around. He can buy whatever he wants.
Buying the dip, it's one of the biggest things in stock markets for wealthy people. You can't really buy the dip unless you're wealthy, though.
Because you probably just lost everything because of the crashing.
Mm-hmm.
See, the thing is, they tricked most people into tying all their money up into the stock market because to them, they just play with it as like a gambling.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And most people,
it is gambling. There's people who are experts that are going to do better, but I think a case study showed, if I remember correctly, that even experts they don't do like you think. It's not like they win 90% of the time. It's like 60%. It's highly like flipping a coin.
yep. And for you and I, our average chance of loss is like 90%
Mm-hmm.
of losing everything.
The only reason they win is because they own a lot of it anyway, and also
Mm-hmm.
they have like stock buybacks and shit, which should be illegal.
Mm-hmm.
But
Which that's what's going to happen here shortly. As soon as this tax cut goes through, they're going to do the same thing and then fire a shitload of people so their profits go up, shareholders all get their big dividends, and everybody's happy. Well,
Mm,
everybody but the workers.
yeah, racism was invented by supremacists to appear superior.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be both. So I definitely believe that there is an evolutionary aspect to it. And again, that doesn't mean it's natural, therefore it's good. I don't condone it, but I do definitely believe that there's more to it than just some people wanting to feel superior. Like
Modern
it's
racism is way different than, like, say, ancient Roman
yeah,
racism. But then it was
true.
more culturalism.
Hmm.
Your culture is different, mine. You speak different language than me. That was how they looked at versus
True. Well, that it's the
nowadays. It's more
same.
color.
It's that is true, but it's still the same us versus them sort of mentality. It's like it's based on the same principle, I guess.
Well, and it still comes from that brain having a larger fear of things that you
Yes.
don't understand.
Yes.
I mean, that's the gist of most of that.
That absolutely true. Yeah.
And then just poor education of racism is passed down from generation to generation from dipshits, basically.
Mm,
And it's mostly eugenics. Like where races, a lot of these so-called races came about was through German. They ran some trial where they basically were like, "Oh, gypsies now a race, Jews now a race." I mean, they started
right.
things that aren't a race are now races of people.
Well, the Nazis did a lot of trade. Like they went far beyond just racial shit. They went like any undesirables, homosexuals. If you were communist, if you disagreed with them in any way, you were rounded up just the same, and they would like kind of
They
like
did that
Trump.
here in
They would
America.
make up bullshit in order to like make it legit and say, okay, yeah, you're going with the rest.
Look up McCarthyism here in America.
Oh, I know all about McCarthyism. Well,
Uh,
not all about, but I know a lot about it.
I mean, just they're putting everybody on trial. Communists, you're communists. Like
Hmm.
after it's so weird though because we allied with Russia. They lost like 28 million people on the front.
Hmm.
We used them basically as the anvil so we could be the hammer.
Yep.
And as soon as the war was over, we're like, you're now our enemy.
Yep. Well,
And
to be fair, they, for one, they weren't, well, we weren't either, but they weren't like the good guys who was swooping in to save the day. They, like, for instance, Ravenhurst, I think it's called, the all-female Nazi concentration camp. The Russians, quote, saved them, and then, like, en masse raped a bunch of people and committed all sorts of atrocities. By the way, we did a lot of shit like that too.
What
But
Japan did a lot of that too.
oh, they were the worst. I think they were
Oh, I
worse than the
know.
Nazis.
Well,
Like,
did you
they,
see after Japan lost, they surrendered. They went and rounded up thousands of women, and they were going to offer us a bunch of the women because what they were told that we would do is rape all their women if we won. So they thought by rounding up all these women and just giving them to us that we wouldn't that would save the rest of the population from us raping
wow.
them.
I didn't
And
know that.
we're like, no, thank you.
That is fucked.
Because when they went into China, man, they just pillaged and raped everybody. They're just
So
horny
it's
little
like,
bastards.
so they were projecting. It's like
Exactly.
it's what they do, and they were like, I guess everyone's like us, but
Exactly. Yeah.
wow. I
Japanese are
didn't.
just weird little men.
That's crazy. But on the Ravenhurst thing, like, so there's that, and then there's also that Russia immediately afterward wanted to annex a bunch of territory. That is the main reason why we got involved in the Cold War, because we're like, you can't do that. And they're
And
like, yeah,
Berlin was a big part
and
of that.
that what about Berlin?
Well, we had it split. So we had the West, they had the East of Berlin. And then eventually they put the wall up to stop people going from the East to the West.
Oh yeah.
Because we had this little culture war basically in Berlin.
Oh yeah. I remember reading about that. I know only a little bit on that.
Yep, there'd be like pirated radio signals center. People would watch television shows of American TV and shit, and then try to get over the wall.
Yeah,
I mean, it came down in '86. I mean, you were alive for that. Well,
that's
I mean,
true.
I was born for that.
Yeah. Damn, I thought it was over way before that. So the
I
wall
mean,
was up all the way until 86?
yep, Reagan.
Damn.
Mr. Gorbachev, bring down that wall. Which it was already in the way of coming down. The Communist Party was already just crumbling. He just took a cameo basically and took credit, just kind of like whenever he fucked over Jimmy Carter.
That plays a big role. I didn't even think about that. Like, I'm sure Berlin was probably one of the biggest fucking reasons for the Cold War.
Yep.
It was this whole fucking ideology war.
Yep, that's all the Cold War was, and we kind of lost, maybe won. I don't know. A stalemate more so.
So, like, I don't know, when it comes to eugenics, so it depends on how it's defined, but I might be considered evil to a certain extent. I'm not like pro eugenics, but I think there's some legitimacy to some of the ideas. Like, if eugenics just means breeding in order for like DNA, for like specific DNA to crop up more frequently in births.
That's more like selective breeding, which that's what we do with animals to get what traits we want.
How would you define eugenics?
Eugenics is basically saying one race of humans is better than the other. So like saying
you have to have right. So you have to have some form of superiority in order for it to be eugenic.
That, and they did like skull brain sizes, thinking brain size determined to make you smarter. Like if you had a bigger brain, make you smart or
that's
smaller brain.
Pseudoscience.
Yeah, exactly. It was most of it was thrown out the window. What was viable was kept, and then what wasn't viable was just thrown out.
Okay, so I guess the problem is eugenics gets kind of thrown out as like a catch-all term now. Like, so sometimes I'll talk about, now this is not me, but I talk about, I could see a person wanting to bring in someone into the world, and they're like, hey, I want to have certain traits. And so I'm going to look for a female that is above a certain IQ and like has certain like personality traits that are more common, blah, blah, blah. Like, I can see that. And
but
some
that's your
people
interest, though, isn't it? I mean, that's just like trying to find the person you want.
That's true. Anyway. That's sort of going to happen anyway. So like, exactly. I guess, yeah, that's true. But some
I mean,
people will
that's
be
the
like,
natural
that's
process.
eugenics, dude. And I'm like, if that's eugenics, then I don't
No,
see anything
eugenics would
wrong.
be like me wanting to make super soldiers where I'd find like a Bjorn, that big giant freaking monster bodybuilder, and then breeding him with another giant woman, and then making a bigger freaking human being, and then training them to be a combatant or like super soldiers and shit like that.
Hmm. So it's definitely less ethical, but I can still see
Yeah, you take
why
the
someone would want to do that.
I mean, I'm sure there's been done super soldiers and like take now we can do it with embryos and sperm where you don't actually have to fucking like put two people in a cage and be like, all right, fuck each other.
Right. Well, now we can isolate specific genes, so we can actually
CRISPR.
create the genes that we want.
Yeah. Well, did you see that guy in China who took CRISPR and then he made two twins that are basically immune to AIDS?
What the hell? No,
Yeah, he gene edited them, but it's
that is
considered
awesome.
unethical. So therefore, I mean, he's in trouble because it's any testing on humans is considered unethical.
Yeah. Uh, I'm biased because I actually like animals more than I like people, but just looking into some of the shit that I see, like bonobos, uh, I don't know how to say it, like marmots. I don't know what they are. They look kind of like monkeys. They're the cutest fucking things ever, and they are
Oh, I know what you mean.
commonly used for fucked up experiments in science for the benefit of humans, and I think that's fucking wrong. We're not
It's supposed
better,
well, a lot of the testing with them is behavioral things. Like,
right?
so teaching us if they're greedy, they get addicted to drugs and shit like that.
Yeah.
Is they carry on human behavioral traits. Now, if we're going to see if a drug's gonna affect something, we use a lab mouse because a lab mouse is basically exactly like a human, just in a smaller form.
I still have a problem with that, but it's at least to me better.
Go work at a rat farm. I worked at a mouse farm where we raised those mice. I did that for a summer, and I would never do that again.
Why you do some fucked up shit?
I spent the first month in the back boiler room. So all the boxes that they raise the mice in are like these plastic boxes, and it just has shavings in them. And then sometimes they die in there, or they just eat all their kids and just leave these little skins behind of all their kids they ate.
Uh huh.
Um, or just shit everywhere. And then I had to sit back there with towers of these boxes, just scraping them out with a fucking garden hoe, and then shoveling it into a fucking boiler.
I couldn't do that shit.
Dude, I spent the first like week and a half just
I like it's like I have a really strong stomach when it comes to things like that. I
I have
just
a
couldn't.
horrible gag reflex.
I couldn't do it because of the moral implication. I just couldn't. I couldn't.
Well, as I progressed and I got up to where I took care of the young little ones. So I'd have these huge tubs where I medicated them, fed them, made sure they were taken care of. And when I was doing it, they said they had the healthiest looking mice ever. So I felt
Hmm.
good. I took care of them then. But the hamsters, those fuckers are just evil. Fuck hamsters.
I've had hamsters. They weren't like bad to me. Odyssey, you were in the waiting area for a little bit. I didn't add you right away because Gadwin was in the middle of talking, and also I wanted to make sure you knew that your camera was on.
Oh yeah, he's probably naked too.
He was
Australians.
completely naked, and it was a beautiful sight.
I hear the bush goes wild down under.
So yeah, I have no problem with you coming on full video. That's completely cool. But most people don't want to, so I try to make sure you have a heads up.
Yeah, I just don't want to be sitting there and then all of a sudden I pick my nose or something and be like, oh, God damn it.
Like that's like I do that occasionally, but like I don't know. Like I guess I've done it for so long that I just know that I'm on camera.
I just get too comfortable and then stoned and then
If
not
I
good.
did, I don't really care. Nearly everyone fucking does it. Like I'm not gonna over analyze it or anything.
It just made me think. Remember when we were like teen boys and then like people were like, you jerk off. No, and like you'd swear to God that you or whatever that you never jerk off and all this shit. And it's like, yeah, you go home and
Honestly,
feed off.
I've always been the weird one when I've never hidden. Like, in fact, people are like, dude, too much information. Like I've always been that type. Like that would be like, dude, you fucking jerk off, don't? And I'm like, dude, I jerk off more than any. Like it won't even be about me, and I'll jump in just to be like, dude, like I'm all about some jerking. Matter of fact, I'll do it right now in front of you.
See, I
Like,
came from this very super Christian, so I was always that bashful, shy, like, no.
mhm. So to be fair, yes, I was like that, but that was like middle school.
Yeah,
Like,
that's when I'm like 12, 13 years
yeah,
old,
yeah, yeah,
14,
yeah.
when you get in your first armpit hair.
Yeah, I was very, very much like that early on.
I think all boys are, because at first it's
Yeah.
like denial, like, because everybody's denying they do it, and it's like, what, am I not supposed to do this?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Like you yourself are just now like starting to do it and like learn about yourself and shit. Like you have all these questions anyway, and people are acting like it's weird or something. So you're questioning it. You're like, is it really
Taboo.
weird? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's all, everything's like all taboo, because you don't know yet. I mean, everything's new yet to you in the world. It's like a whole new
Yeah.
door just opened up, and you just discovered, like, what?
Yeah. I'm like, dude, what's this damn hard thing that's like the size of a pubic hair? Oh,
Why's
that's
my nub itchy?
Beautiful.
Oh, the worst was whenever you're in class and you'd all of a sudden just get rigor mortis in your. Hopefully, you didn't get called to the front like you had a Woody.
I like to. I always preferred like baggier clothing with a belt. It was just more comfortable to me, so I've never had that issue because it would never be obvious.
Well, I have big hands, so it made it nice. I just slip my hand in my pocket, kind of just hold it to the side, just hope it goes away.
I also, me personally, I didn't really have that much because I was sort of a late bloomer. I was not interested in sexual shit, and I wasn't even really sexually active, even fapping, until I was way older. Like I would say 17 or so. Like I had a very, I don't know, I was like dark goth type person, and I was more like into the darkness and like uh just having fun at school and like
Pokemon
be,
cards.
huh?
Pokemon cards.
Uh, Mine was Magic the Gathering, but yeah,
I went back and forth between the two. I mean, whatever was popular at the time.
right. But yeah, I was never really interested in girls until much later. In fact, I had girls interested in me, and I'm like, nah. And like
Well,
the
see, that's what
guys,
got me in trouble, and then that trouble made me not. For a
yeah,
while, I was like, no.
yeah. Mal, I'm gonna add you to the stage now. Welcome.
Bloody hell. Good day, governor.
I noticed before, Gadwin seemed to be better able to understand you than I can. Maybe I have less experience with your accent.
Goddamn icon popped up.
Ahoy
Hello.
there!
Hello, Audie.
Ahoy! Where are we
It's
setting
working.
sail to, Captain?
No echo.
No
Well,
echo is
see,
always great. It fucks my brain up. I can't
well,
deal with it. Like,
my headset has a thing on it, so if I turn the one wheel, it'll actually make it where I can hear myself in my headphones.
why
Oh,
would you
wow.
want that?
What?
Yeah.
That's what. Sometimes it's the one because you just bump it, and then I don't, I'm not using my mic, and then I go to use it, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, nope, nope, nope.
Like, why would you have that feature? What is it useful for?
Well, you gotta think maybe like musicians, how whenever they're singing, they actually like to hear themselves, so they know if they're on
That makes
cue and shit.
sense. Yeah.
So, like,
Narcissist much?
Narcissist?
no, I would never.
Or if you want to hear yourself fapping, like you want to hear all the sounds and everything. That's like violent fapping.
Oh yeah, that's the balls swinging back and forth at high speed. Just gotta watch you don't rupture one or get testicular torsion in one of them.
It gets
I'll put
louder
you
the
down.
older you get, fellas.
Just make sure you take your blood pressure medicine. You'll be good.
And the way to slap them is to kick them.
Bit of duct tape. She'll help.
We're
The
all
only
about
problem's taking off the duct tape. That's all.
Retape them to your legs.
One each leg.
We're all about the duct tape here in the South. We like to say if you can't duck it, fuck it.
Yeah, cool. Duct tape and zip ties, brother.
We half-ass everything.
Yeah, I bet Travis's vehicle is held together with mostly duct tape.
The funny thing is, yes, partially. My fucking front bumper has zip ties, bolts.
That's what they were done. I was gonna say zip ties too.
And even a little bit of duct tape. From at one point, I tried to duct tape the fucking thing, and then I was like, "Dude, this shit ain't gonna work."
Nope. Well, unless it's a hot day. If you can get that shit good and hot, then it'll stick good.
That makes sense. I don't know shit about like fucking working on stuff, so I try whatever the fuck. Like my driver's side window is held up by pieces of cardboard.
I'm making notes on this for my next date night.
Oh, yeah, it's not hard to get into Troms.
True. It is a literal sausage fest. Rash, you sound like damn Jamie now. That sounds like something he would say.
I mean, Rash can't have the sausage. He's a Muslim, but I'm sure he's craving it.
I thought we were talking about the beans, not the Frank. Anyway.
So what's the topic at hand now?
Right now, we're just talking about random perverted shit.
Keeping our balls to our leg.
I was going to say about why people believe rich people are clever.
Uh-huh.
It's the poor people are going to think that, isn't it?
Yes.
I'm not clever enough to be rich, so they must be clever to be
yes.
rich. You must be clever to get rich.
That's a very, very good point. I've never thought about it like that, but you have a very valid point.
Lots of people think about it like that over here, but it's pretty fucking idiotic.
It goes back to what I said.
Think being born rich.
What?
Why didn't I think about being born rich? Damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
nepotism.
That's
it's got nothing to do with intelligence.
Exactly. Well, but you internalize it because, again, they push this thing where everything's about personal accountability to make you think that everything is within your actions and decisions in life, which is not true.
It's your shortcomings.
But if you start thinking that, then you're basically, like Mal said, you're going to internalize it and go, oh, something's wrong with me. I'm not smart enough. I didn't work hard enough, when that's not true.
Yep, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, Stroms. Do you ever see a picture of it? It's a guy laying on his back tugging at his bootstraps, which, if anybody didn't know, that's what they used to have for shoelaces.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just they're like tugging on his shoelaces with the seat in there.
Wow. Is it like a meme or something?
It's an old picture. It's like a kid dressed in old clothes, like laying on his back, tugging on his shoelaces with his feet above his head, like tugging on them. Like, you're supposed to pull yourself up by that. How?
Is that where it all came from?
Yep.
Damn.
Tugging on them, like, you're supposed to pull yourself up by that. How?
Yeah, it's me fucked. I got slip-ons.
I did too now. I got those Skechers slip-ons. I'm styling. They're steel toe too.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I got a funny one though for you. I was wearing my thongs when I took the dog out last night, and I freaking must have kicked the dog turd. I didn't see it. Freaking, there's dog shit smeared all across the front of my flip-flop.
Damn.
Well, I like how the Aussies call flip-flops thongs.
I didn't even know that. I thought you were talking about the kind that gets in your butt crack.
Nope, these are getting your foot cracks. Toe crack.
Damn. Did you get it on your feet?
That's the thing I don't remember.
Oh.
So now I'm like thinking, oh my god, did I walk through the house with dog shit strewn across my toes?
Not something you want to remember, as it was.
I was really tired when I went to bed. Like I went to bed like 8 o'clock last night.
I can't get my damn sleep back, and like I'm so susceptible to any change. Like some people can go like they have a day off and they decide to stay up really late or whatever, and then they go back to normal. I can't do it. Like it takes me a week. If anything changes in my sleep schedule, I'm fucked for at least a week.
I don't know how I did it, but I fucking figured it out somehow. I command myself. I don't use an alarm. I just wake up. Like last night, I woke up at 2. But I wake up anywhere between 3 and 4 every morning. Same time. Like I'll wake up. I can be like, well, I don't want to get up yet. Go back to sleep for 30 minutes. And I'll literally go to sleep for like 30 minutes and wake back up. Like I don't know how to do it. I freak myself out. But I used to be like you were. If I messed up one day staying late, I had to stay up the whole day, all the way around until I wanted to go to bed till like 9, 10 o'clock, and then go to bed at that moment so I could be back on schedule.
I try to do that so that I'm tired enough to go to sleep at the normal time. But even that usually fails because I'm not like when I was way younger, I could stay up all the time. Now, just like 4 or 5 fucking hours later, and I'm like passing out, like standing, like I can't do it.
I used to just like nothing 2 days, like I could game like it was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's going 18 hours is hard.
And it's worse for someone like me because a lot of people love sleep. I hate it. I see sleep as like
waste of time.
You spent like 1/3 of your entire fucking life just doing nothing, like at the end of your lifetime. I do it because I have to, but I hate it. I always feel like I'm missing out on something.
Wait, what?
Huh?
That's the rash.
Oh.
Yeah, I suppose you're missing out on the nap fat.
Oh, you guys! I laugh at you two going back and forth in Discord.
It is kind
of
funny.
I was having a lot of fun, man. But if he doesn't want to answer any of the questions, then there's this point where you just go, fuck it. So yeah, those AI videos are pretty fucking fun to generate, man. You guys should have a look at it sometime. It's piss funny.
I've made a couple different things. Well, like I got into it when it was the chat thing, and then I did the image generation, and then I did the video generation, and it's.
I did the image generation. I gave myself a pick with shitloads of a washboard chest, basically. I look pretty fucking cool, man. But you can tell it's animated, dude. So yeah.
I had it make a Yeti Viking army.
Here we go.
So it's a bunch of Yetis, but they're dressed like Vikings, like goth Vikings, and like ready to go to the war. It was part of my Hippodia lore.
Cool.
Testing.
I can hear you. It's a little staticky, but I can hear you.
This is Mission Control. We can hear you, Rash.
Hello, Houston.
What was that about not answering questions?
Mate, there's a whole list of them, Rash.
Okay, make this list. I dare you, make this list.
I've done it. It's in fucking his intro.
No, right now.
No. I'm having a pleasant day.
No, so you're not going to make the list. You can do it right now. Just list it out. Go on. What question did I not answer?
Oh.
One. One. Oh, number one. Which one?
Define Allah.
Define Allah. Well, that's the God. There you go. Do I have to define what a God is now? Have you got a problem with your English language? Come on, dude.
This is hilarious, but I'll be back in just a second. I got to piss. You guys can carry on. Just don't do personal attacks, please. And Don't do anything
I'm
that's
not
going to get me
carry
striked.
on.
You should get more than
This
twice
is-
playing with it.
Boring. If he
I
wants
will
to
be.
do it, he'll do it on my stream. End of story.
Do what on whose stream? Your stream? I didn't know
My
you had a stream.
stream.
You have a stream?
I will generate a stream just to converse with you, Rash. But you're here triggered and emotionally hyped. So
Dude, I've been here all morning.
yeah, I know. And look how you entered the studio, brother. You
Dude,
can
you
calm
summoned
down.
me. You summoned me by talking about me. You're the one who came on triggered, my friend.
Rash has got tears.
I always have tears in the morning. It's called getting old.
What are you smoking, Rash?
Uh,
Wait.
Tell us one characteristic of Allah that isn't just fucking something that's surreal like oneness. Give me one characteristic of Allah that would make him real. Just one. Come on, Muslim. Oi! This is simple for you. Oi! Answer my fucking question. It's a fucking simple one, Muslim.
Can I answer or not? Am I allowed to answer? Are you going to talk over
Oh,
me?
well, you seem to just be wanting to whinge. If you had an answer, you would have already done it. You fucking trash, fallacious, crap interlocutor.
Isn't there a rule about you talking like that?
Not if it's true.
Yeah, let's not do any like personal attacking.
Personal
here.
attack.
Come on.
Okay.
Yellow card.
Question
Odyssey.
Okay.
Right? If a character of God, but you say I can't use oneness.
Mate, I'm trying to not even have this conversation, but someone wants to persist.
Hey, dude, you asked the question. I didn't ask you anything.
Yeah, and I said I'll deal with it on a separate stream.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see how that goes, because even when we talk,
You're a bit choppy there, brother.
even when we talk,
And when we do it on a separate stream, you won't have an opportunity to pivot all the time.
Why? I could pivot over here all the time. I could pivot over there all the time. If that's what you think,
that's the problem. No, you don't. You
so
do.
What would stop me pivoting?
It's all in writing on Trope's Discord. It's all there blatantly in writing.
If we
Read
go
it in line in chronological order, Rash. For fuck's sake, man.
Dude, where did we start out with?
This isn't rocket science. Oh,
yeah, I'm telling you it's not rocket
science. Where did we start out? Fucking, why do you have your belief? That's the fucking whole question, Rash. You haven't answered it for 7 and 8 years. You've been avoiding, swapping about, and fucking lying. You're just a fucking fallacious person to talk to. Why are you talking over me?
Stop trying to insult me. We started with an accurate prophecy.
No one's insulting you, mate.
We started with an accurate prophecy, correct or not?
And you're the one that raised your voice too. I've only raised my voice because I can't hear otherwise.
I'm raising my voice because you can't hear me. You pivoted from an accurate prophecy.
Yeah, maybe fix your microphone, Choppy. You're supposed to be a millionaire.
Yeah, 1 billion. Inland.
I don't give a fuck.
You brought it up. If you don't give a fuck, don't bring things up.
We'll buy a mic that works, mate. Or get some internet that works.
Yeah, well, this is this is what I got. Deal with it.
Right,
yeah,
sure.
mate, there's people here with 20% of your income that can fucking do better. So if you're going to fucking sit here whining like a little bitch.
I had a high income? Dude, I've got a smaller income by far than any of you.
I don't give a fuck about this.
You brought it up.
All right, so originally it was about like a disagreement involving religion or something, but it's moved toward you're like attacking him about his internet connection. That's irrelevant, and that's getting close to ad hominem status. So please cut that out. You guys can feel free to disagree. That's fine, but don't attack each other personally, especially when it's not relevant.
Separate stream.
Why would the separate stream work better? If
Because
you
it
think I
wouldn't
pivot, why would
offend
I?
trobes.
Oh, so you want to do ad hominems? I get it. Fine.
Oh my God, what an assertion. Do you know what an assertion is?
What's to assert when you're literally trying to do it right now?
Oh my God.
Yo, don't invoke God. You don't believe in him.
That's why I refer to him in front of you.
Trumps was
He's
about to
a
pray
joke.
right there. I saw it. You're about to pray God light that thing up.
Yeah.
Come on, God.
Yeah, this damn thing's annoying as hell.
You need a Bic.
I used a dry herb vape about 2 weeks ago for the first time. They are fucking brilliant. You can't get them in South Australia. There's anti-vape laws that came in big time. They're making an example of any stores selling them and shit. Like normally you just go to sex shops and shit and get them the back way, but can't even get them that way.
Well, in some ways, it's good. It shows that your government actually cares about the health of their people, because there's a ton of evidence to show, like popcorn lung and shit. It's not good.
Those vapes are not nice at all.
Well, vape liquid's bad because they have all the chemicals they put in them, but vaping fucking dry cannabis has got to be better than the normal ways of smoking dry cannabis.
Well, one, I didn't know you were talking about cannabis. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. Dry herb vapes, like all the other vapes, I understand them being absolutely shit, all the chemicals they sneak in them and all that. But the dry herb vape, you put cannabis into it basically, but it only heats it up so the THC basically evaporates. So all the rest doesn't burn, so you don't get all the crap going in your lungs. So you only get what you want going in your lungs.
I don't know if there's been any research, but it sounds actually healthier.
Yeah, man. And I got 4 times the value, like 4 amounts of, like 4 good lungfuls from what I'd normally get 1 good lungful from. Like it made it last longer. Home aerobics. Talk to him about him as well. He has got a lot more detail about it. He's what made me think about it. But yeah, my in-laws has got medical marijuana license interstate, and we went interstate, so I borrowed hers. And yeah, they're fucking good, man.
It's all right.
Hopefully going to get me one.
Here, like any state that actually has legal flower cannabis, that's how you have to do it legally. Like smoking a joint or burning it is actually not part of the medical marijuana law.
Yeah, cool. That makes sense, actually. Yeah. See, I had no fuck all about the actual
but then you can still get like the vapes that are in oil. That's what I use. I like the oil vapes. I'd say it's safer than burning any plant matter, like inhaling smoke of anything, because it's the heat mainly that's going to give you the cancer. You don't want the heat.
Not just the heat, but any burning. There's evidence to show that grilling things, the process of the meat burning in any amount, creates the carcinogens. So
don't eat bacon.
Yeah.
Or ham.
I don't really like it anyway. I'm not a big bacon person.
Also, drinking like a lot of hot tea, hot coffee, like eating a lot of hot food can cause a mutation in the cells in the throat, which can give you throat cancer.
Right.
Oh, wow. It makes sense, too.
Because
converting those proteins.
Well, cancer's from your body, your cells going crazy, so it only happens through excessive amounts of radiation or heat.
That reminds me, there's new research, I haven't dug into it, that shows that some country created some sort of like nanotech that attacks cancer cells without fucking with actual normal cells.
Oh, yeah, CAR T. I mean, CAR T's been around for a while now. It's a cancer immunity thing. They take your white blood cells and then they treat teach it how to attack and kill cancer cells, and then they just grow a vat of that and then re-add it to your blood system.
Then
And
why
it's
why is
anything that you're
is
right.
it is it
Anything
not
that
just
denatures proteins does the
Well,
cancer kind of shit.
it's
Right.
it's $500,000 for the treatment.
oh that's the problem?
Yeah.
That makes sense. That was going to be my next question. I'm like, why is it
It's
not like
basically-
common?
It's a vaccine basically for cancer. It teaches the body how to kill cancer because the body doesn't attack cancer because it is the body. So cancer, all it is a cell. Whenever it's growing, it just goes all crazy and it becomes a mass. Becomes a mass somewhere in the body. Which there's another way to get rid of it, and that's just fasting for 3 days, and the body will literally flush a lot of that kind of stuff out.
What's really fucked up is that oftentimes these big companies, they don't fund it. Usually, like at least here, the United States government funds the research, and then they take the shit, patent it, and get all the crap, and then like price gouge the fuck out of people.
Like that one for diabetes, insulin.
Yeah,
That guy made
Yeah,
it so
exactly.
it could be like super cheap, and they're just price gouging everybody.
yep, it
Go to
should
Canada,
be illegal.
$15 a vial. Trump, he repealed Biden's price cap on it, and now it's like $300 a vial here in America.
Yep. So after that too, he claimed that he's going to reduce drug prices. If he actually wanted to reduce drug prices, he wouldn't have repealed fucking Biden shit that actually did.
What Trump really said is he's not mad that Americans are paying high prices. He's mad that the rest of the world's paying low prices.
That's true.
He wants to make the rest of the world pay high prices like we're paying. 'Cause
Exactly.
For them, that's profit.
And also, like, that's his buddies, the pharmaceutical industry, and that would help them tremendously because not only are we getting fucked, the whole rest of the world's getting fucked, and they're coming out like fucking bandits. You're right.
How's he taken the tariff thing since that got repealed or whatever?
That
it's called?
appealed, and now tariffs are still back in place. The 50% on Europe.
I don't think Trump is going to listen.
So how's he put him back?
Yeah, it's all back on. Like he appealed it.
Had it? Oh, okay, just an appeal.
But it's worth noting, like I said before, even when like the Supreme Court rules, like for instance, you got to get Abrego Garcia back, all this shit, they just ignore it. He's basically says, I'm the fucking executive branch, you're the judicial branch, but you don't have the right to tell me what to do. It's bullshit, but that's what he's doing. So it doesn't matter. Like if he decides not to listen to the Supreme Court, we have a serious constitutional crisis.
And I think
he's already done that.
It's going to coup if that happens.
That's true. Well, I guess what I mean, yes, he's already done that. What I mean is if he continues unabated, because knowing Trump, he's going to get more and more emboldened, and he's going to go, well, I can get away with this. Fuck, I can do anything.
Well, he's already there, isn't he?
Yes, but he's not
come on,
doing.
This is the real world.
He's not literally doing anything. Like he's not like fucking.
It's stealing shitloads and shitloads and shitloads of money.
That's true, and that's fucked.
Crashing.
But,
I mean, he eviscerated like $6 trillion in the stock market.
Right, and
Mate,
he's doing
it's
a lot
insane.
He's doing a lot of bad shit.
It is literally insane.
But let's not think that this is as bad as it can get.
Oh no,
it's not even close. Not even close.
Not at all. So maybe I know you're doing the best that you guys can do. I'm not fucking here bitching at anyone in particular. It's all bureaucracy crap. But fuck, there's got to be a way to. He needs to be gone.
Oh, I agree.
America collapses. Australia's fucked because you're not part of NATO. You're not like. You're just like kind of like our side bitch.
Are you changing the topic for a reason?
Well, that China has been eyeing up Australia, so I'm just letting you know.
I don't have a problem with China, though. You're the ones that have a problem with China.
Oh, no. So if we're out of the picture,
neutral on China.
China's becoming the superpower. So basically, America's growth and empire days are over. We're going to become like the British Empire. We're going to shrink into nothing and lose all of our power and all of our colonies, and then have to.
You've definitely lost at least 30% of the power you had before Trump.
Oh yeah,
I mean, we'll have once things settle down.
Killed it too.
Just due to global confidence being taken from you and going elsewhere.
I think that's part of the point. I think Trump is working on behalf of elites on purpose because he wants to expedite that process because it's happening. There's no going back.
Did you see all the companies leaving? John Deere's leaving, Case
Yep.
IH is leaving, Ford's
Well, yeah.
leaving, GMC's leaving.
Exactly,
Like, they're
Brandon.
not national
Selling
brands.
your ass
They're
to make
worldwide
money.
brands. Coca-Cola's leaving. I saw that one today.
That's what Trump's doing.
And yeah, and China's going to become the next superpower. I mean, and we're just going to have to accept it.
Yep. Well, it's already it's been in the process for about 10 years now. We're just at a point now where there's no real way of fighting it. China,
Unless
yes,
AI is the only thing that's going to change.
True, but even China has us beat on that.
No. They have us beat on how
you get your chips from the Netherlands for that. So you need to protect the Netherlands.
Our chips come from our chips come from Taiwan, actually, which is even worse. It's right next to China. Like 90% of our chips are from Taiwan. And
well, I have to say, in defense of China,
but your military trips come from the Netherlands.
Maybe, but like if China was like this evil, like wanting to like take over, they're certainly doing a bad way of like showing it because they literally, you know how much money they could have made if they had forced their company under communism to
China. It's so large. It's 1.5 billion people.
True.
I mean, when you're talking that amount of people, it's hard to keep them first contained and not rebelling.
Right.
Like
that's true.
China has rebelled.
Mate, I think you guys have a problem with all your homeless and shit, but China's 5 times you guys. And you're 5 times us, but they're 5 times you guys. There's still shitloads of poor and all that kind of crap. They've got all their issues too that they keep.
But they're more family oriented. So in China, if you get hardship, you can go home and your family will take care of you. That's why you don't have homeless people in China because they're very family oriented. Here in America, it's like this. You're on your own.
Yeah, I know you get that with capitalism.
That's part of it. It is. We're from birth. Everything we're consumers first and foremost, and everything is about the individual. Now, even I think that way to a large extent, but that is one of the pluses of China's system.
Well, they're communists. They make sure everybody has a home.
Yep. And so I will disagree to an extent. They're not communist. They're a weird they're a capitalist, like weird sort of. They're their own thing. They're not communist.
They're Democratic Communist Party, so they have different parties that get elected, but they run a capitalist economy. So the government owns a 51 stake in like energy and the major things that affect that they need to control natural resources.
Right.
And then the rest of it's allowed to be
a high level of socialism.
Yes, and
exactly, it's more socialist. We just don't like suffering of our people. We're more like Sweden and Denmark.
Yes.
I don't consider it communist.
Well, the only issue I have with China is their level of authoritarianism. I don't like their that's the issue. If it weren't for that, I would think they're great. They're perfect.
For me, it's more the Uyghurs. So they have about 2 million Muslim Uyghurs kept like in re-education camps and prison camps. That to me is just a no-no.
To be honest, I'm still learning about that because it goes back and forth. Like China's like, that's bullshit. And there is evidence that some of the Uyghur genocide stuff was fabricated. So I don't know how much is true. I don't know how much is true and how much is not.
You have to take everything with a grain of sand. I mean, some things are exaggerated, because people want coverage for their plight.
Right.
So they're going to exaggerate things.
But the point is, if we can't tell exactly, then I don't see the point in even engaging at all, like even holding it against them, because we don't even know if it's true.
It is a bit of ethnic cleansing is what they're doing, is basically trying to erase a culture and basically put them into the regular base population. They want everybody to think alike, and they're basically it's think like us or to the camp with you.
But the question is what you just said, what the West wants you to think, or is that true? We don't have evidence. Like, that's the problem. Like, that could be propaganda.
I mean, it
Did
doesn't
anybody
surprise me.
have to wait
Russia's doing
for
the same
evidence
thing.
for Auschwitz? I mean, if
No.
Auschwitz was happening, a lot of people didn't know what was happening, right?
Right.
But I
Well,
mean, did you
I
have
agree
to
with
wait
it.
for a lot of evidence before you even look into it?
I can only use myself as an example because I'm not most people, but me personally, I would wait for evidence. I don't make claims on emotion because it's usually what people target to get you worked up so that you'll lash out when it may not even be true. Like, we know that Auschwitz actually happened. There's tons of evidence, but if I lived during that time, yeah, after the fact, agreed. But if I lived during that time, then I would be like, hold up, let's find some fucking evidence before we start pointing fingers.
Well, that's the
Exactly.
thing.
Unfortunately, I would be doing the same, and it would probably be too late because I have a tendency to, inverted commas, believe that Trump is doing this shit.
Humans
Or
tend to come
us,
late
or
in the
whatever it is.
tragedy, or there wouldn't be the tragedy.
That's the problem. You're right. That's the issue. Is half the time, if you need evidence, especially with a country that's as controlling as China, you're not going to find out shit. So what? You're just going to let them die while you're waiting for evidence? That's the problem. But at the same time, you can't. Like, what are you going to do? Like, it might be bullshit.
Exactly. I'm only one person.
Like, maybe like there needs to be international law to where we go, well, we are deciding we're going to investigate these camps, and if we find any evidence, you can't stop us. If you try, then we're going to fucking declare war on you, because all we're doing is we're not fucking with you. All we're doing is seeing whether or not you're actually committing crimes, and if you are, then like that's the only thing I can think of doing.
But it shows how powerful China is that it can deflect all that. If it was a smaller country doing the same thing, the UN would be all over it.
That's true. That's very true.
The UN is soft power again. They're not really a real force of power. They're just kind of like, they can wag their finger at people, but that's about it.
Right.
I mean, this thing with like Gaza, they went after this thing called the Indonesian hospital. Indonesia's got a massive army. They should go get pissed off and run in there and say, well, hey, they attacked us. You know, they could do something about it. The UN can't, they just talk.
Putin's kidnapped 30,000 some kids, has them in re-education camps. That's why there's a warrant for his arrest. They haven't done shit.
Yeah,
like
you're
2
right.
years.
It's all symbolic. It's they don't have any actual power. And also, it's true that the UN, it's not as independent as people like to believe. It's highly influenced by the United States, for one. Not saying that they completely control them, because they don't, but they hold a ton of fucking sway over them, and we have threatened them and the international court as well numerous times because they've ruled against something we didn't like. So
the US
Bush could be in prison.
Yeah, it's fucking. It's not neutral. Like we fucking strong arm all the fucking time.
NATO is the only thing keeping world peace right now.
I can agree with that. So the problem is NATO needs to be, one, completely independent. They do not need to be held back by like what the US wants and what the West wants in general.
Well, you have so many idiots like Andy 504 who think that agreement to spend I think it's 5% of GDP on military spending. He thinks that we're paying for that somehow. And like these right wingers that don't understand anything of the NATO actually does is a lot of the problem. They vote for the dumbasses that keep voting against NATO.
Yes, that's true. And I'm pro NATO, but I do believe what he said that changed my mind. And that is that it's supposed to be a 2% regardless across the board. And it's fair
5.
because
Trump raised it to 5.
What?
Yeah, Trump raised it to 5% GDP.
That's too fucking high.
Well, exactly. That's just like when they tried to make the USPS look bad. They made him pay for like 50 years of insurance in like 5 years.
That's fucking retarded.
Have you heard anything about his $400 million plane lately?
I haven't. The last I heard about it was what I covered, that it's actually a piece of shit that they couldn't sell. And they just wanted to give it away That's
They
it.
tried to give it to Turkey.
Um,
Turkey's like, no, thank you, and it's been costing them millions of dollars to
Yep.
store it and take care of it.
Yeah.
It's like a massive boat that's just costing you
Yep.
money.
It's
but
because
he's going to get
we've
refurbished by you taxpayers.
that and so also like technology has moved away from that. People want slim, low profile shit. They don't want some
Mhm.
massive fucking palace in the sky.
Goose in the fucking
So
air.
it's all going for nothing. So
Yeah.
he's going to just
So
have this thing in his
basically-
His
little
ego.
hangar.
Basically they were
What a
like,
waste of money.
guys, let's see if we can find a dumbass that'll take it. And they're Hugh Trump.
I heard
Yeah.
he actually asked them for it. He personally
Yeah.
asked for the plane.
Yeah.
Really?
Same.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
White elephant too.
Wow.
The guy has no fucking shame.
No.
Let's trim some savings with Doge and do this kind of crap. Fucking for one.
I don't know what happened. Somewhere along, I diverted into another timeline where it's just everything's stupid now, and it's just
Yeah,
nothing makes
man.
sense.
Well, it's a
When
lot
did
of
it
it.
happen, Gads?
A,
This
a
is
lot of
fucking
it
for
is
fun.
it's fucking
You know
by
what?
design. It's
I bet CERN. I'm gonna point my finger at fucking CERN as that fucking particle collide.
Yeah, man.
It's dumb. It's fucked up our whole timeline.
I
heard
think
they
it's
inserted a black hole or some shit there, so that's probably part of it.
I think it's far more simple. It's just fucking people are dumb because elites want them dumb, and that's how it. This is like the repercussions of that. It's also why Americans in general are so easy to control. We're so subservient in general. We're stupid. We're not educated.
And what that's the kind of opposite is we have taken advantage of the information age. We have taken this time to actually inform ourselves and increase our knowledge and then gain wisdom from that knowledge consumption.
Yes.
And we're now elevating above those people where now we can actually look down and be like, wow, those motherfuckers are dumb. But
Well-
I can look back at myself and be like, wow, I was one of those dumb motherfuckers at one
Right.
time.
So I agree, but I think there's more to it than that. It's not just about the availability of knowledge and that we chose to take it. I think the more important thing is that we learned how to parse knowledge and separate bullshit, because it's not just that we have like an unlimited amount of like knowledge here. That's true, but we have an unlimited amount of everything, including bullshit.
Mhm.
So that's the important thing, is that we
And distractions.
well, yeah, that's true as well. But there's so many people who are even somewhat decently smart people, and they still spend the time to go online to learn, use all this information at their fingertips, but they're learning bullshit, and they're like in all these conspiracy theories and crap.
Yeah, I was gonna say flat earthers, anti-vaxxers, stupid shit.
Yeah,
Which
absolutely.
So not
that
that
is
smart,
exactly
then.
designed that way. So in when was Roswell?
I don't know.
Oh, 19, it was like 40 something, wasn't it? It was right after World War II. It was like 49 or something like that. Maybe it was in the 50s. But whenever Roswell, that crash happened, it was an experimental airplane, jet fighter that we were working on. And we didn't want the Soviets to know about it, so that's why Nevada out in the middle of nowhere. After that crash, people started making up all these fucking crazy stories. The government's like, this is great. They're so far from the truth with making up all this shit, UFOs, aliens, and everything. We couldn't make up shit this good. So they kind of snowballed it and just let them run with it. So all these conspiracy theories, they tend to run cover for actual operations going on, or what's going on that they want to keep secret.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've done that for a long fucking time.
Well, that's snazzy, Ozzy.
Snazzy.
This is just your StreamYard background, isn't it?
What?
Like, see the distortion? It's
Oh,
green
wow.
screen.
That's cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can
Matrix.
put this exact background up, Trobes, because it's StreamYard.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, go in your backgrounds in your settings somewhere.
I used a personal one just because I wanted something a little darker. They didn't have anything like what I wanted.
I don't know
But-
how to get videos up in the background. like or shit like that. Like I don't know if you've been to Deconstruction Zone. He has like 3 or 4 different things up on his screen, like chats from 2 or 3 places and a screen thing in the background, and then animations going.
He probably uses OBS. It's the most powerful free software that you can use, but it's so damn complicated to me. Like I don't like fucking with it.
What are they called? Overlays or something?
I don't know much about it. I've done really basic digging, but like every time I get into it, I'm like fucking boring, and then I go into something else. I'm just not interested in that sort of like the editing and like video special shit.
Yep.
Like I just hate it. I fucking hate it.
I don't want to do anything overboard. Yeah. But, you know, if you got advertising screen space, and I don't mean advertising product, I mean just, you know, make your voice a little bit louder with some slogan kind of advertising.
Right.
Why not preach a little bit louder, you know?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not my thing. I pick up little bits over time, but I'm never going to be like serious.
We're those early millennials that just kind of were at the dawn of technology.
Well, I don't even know how you get your background here with the trees there. Like, I believe when I do it, it's just black.
I just got a really cheap like I found the wallpaper and stole it. Like,
yeah, cool.
I've been doing that.
Oh, so that's your desktop or something, is it?
What?
Well, that forest is actually the default YouTube thing. So whenever I first made my channel, that's the default banner. One of the default banners.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just found it online somewhere.
I'll be back in a sec.
All right.
He's going to go have another stream. I think Mal fell asleep.
He's bored to death.
Mal uses OBS and it's boring.
Bloody hell.
All this damn small talk. Mal wants to talk about something important.
Oh, when you have all these things and all that going on in the background and fancy pictures and this, that, and all the rest of it, I'd rather hear what people got to say.
That's more me. Everybody's different. And I think what Odd's perspective is that you can have all that and have it flashier and better and all that stuff. It's just
like a kid in a candy store.
In the meantime, for me, like it takes time. And that time that I'm using to learn this shit could be time that I'm learning about stuff that I actually care about. So
like, you probably break down things
compartmentalize.
Yes, things like I do. So like when I play video games, so like when they add a new thing, I use that until I fully understand that new thing, and then next thing I get, and then just keep until I'm fully comfortable with using. So you just add things slowly, one little thing at a time.
Right. That's sort of like how I am. Yeah. And I prefer that because it gives me time to learn about the features and stuff, like one little thing at a time. And that way I'm not bombarded by all this shit, and it distracts me too. I'm ADHD. Like it don't take much to distract me. So
they said I had a slow learning disability. It's not so much slow. It's just I want more information so I can break everything down and then fully learn it.
Yeah, and that can be a bad thing too, like what they call analysis paralysis for us ADHD people. When you want to like make the perfect decision, it's part of perfectionism as well. If you also are unfortunate enough to have both, what you do is you want to look at every single possibility, every contingency, and you start sifting through them to find the perfect answer. The problem is as humans, we don't have that data. We can't. So we're constantly jumping through all of these possibilities and trying to narrow it down when we don't have the data necessary to make that computational decision.
Well, I do in a lot of things. So like as I go through my day, like I see a stair. Should I jump up those? I actually vision in my head me fucking up and not making it, and I see things. Or like when I go up the stairs here at the house, like when I get up to the top, sometimes I'll envision myself falling down, and then when I go down them, I walk slow and more sure of my footing. So
I
it has
do
this,
that
like,
too, but not visually. Mine
mine
is
are like visual
all
premonitions.
okay. Interesting.
So like I'm like get up to the stop, and then in my head I see me falling down the motherfucking steps because like I stepped too fast and slipped or something, and it's just when I walk down, then I go slow to avoid that premonition.
Right. So it's fine when you're using it to like the extent you're describing. Like I can relate outside of the visual part, but like it's when you do this too much that it becomes a problem because you get stuck. You don't want to make a decision at all. It's why they call it analysis paralysis, because you start evaluating to such an extent you never actually make a move, because you can spend literally forever contemplating possibilities.
Sometimes, I mean, there is limited on some, depending on the situation.
Mhm.
See, me, I'm a visual person, so I run all these situations through my head in a visual way, as
Mhm.
though I'm actually experiencing it through the vision himself. So therefore, like I'll sometimes zone out when I'm doing things. I'll be sitting there, and I'll zone out so much I'm into this whatever, and I'll actually go to reach inside my vision, and they'll snap me out of it because I moved. Or
Well,
go to take a step in my vision, and then I actually snaps me out of it.
damn. I
Like I get into
definitely
it deep.
I can't relate on that. Like I'm always up in my head, but I don't visualize. So it's like I'm not
For me,
there in a way.
I can pop back any moment in my life and literally almost like relive it visually in my mind.
Jeez. That
Like my
sounds
earliest,
useful.
sometimes like my earliest memory is drowning. Like I can remember back when I was like 3 or 4 years old, I was at a party with my parents. It was like a work party. There's a pool. It was the middle of the day. Everybody's having fun. I was at the shallow end. And I remember walking down the ramp of the pool, and I went under the water. And I remember hearing my mom screaming my name and then getting yanked up out of the water and then looking at me. I was fine. But basically, I mean, if I would have left unattended, I would have drowned.
Right.
But that's my earliest memory. But I wanted to make sure it wasn't a false memory. So therefore, I had to validate that by surprising them without them knowing I was going to ask them, and then getting their response to it. So I was on a
Right.
vacation with them, and I was coming back, just the three of us in the car. I was like, "Hey, you guys remember when I was 3?" And I basically told them the story I just elaborated to you, and they both just looked at each other like shocked in the face. Like that told me that was an actual memory.
Right. You're similar to me in that you don't completely trust your mind. So this is one of the big differences between people who think like intellectually and people who don't. People who don't automatically consider their personal experience fact no matter what. People who are intellectual in general, this is obviously oversimplifying, but they realize the capacity for our brains to fuck up, and it happens all the time. So we don't automatically
Misperception.
trust it. Yes, and I'm exactly the same way. So I do similar things, and some people might find it kind of manipulative, but I don't see it as
Validating the
manipulative.
memories.
Yes. Not just memories, but I do the same thing, but it's like if I have an experience or hear something or whatever, and if it's not something that comports with reality very easily, or it's not easily explained, the first thing I do is try to find a logical explanation, and I'll use other people and do sort of what you described to make sure, because one, I don't trust people, so they might lie to me. So sometimes you got to word things in a certain way to like get at what you're looking for without directly asking for it.
Exactly. Yes. I ask odd questions, but it's the answer, the response is what I'm looking for.
Yes, and that I have that same deal, and people are like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Don't worry about it. Just answer the question, and later
Yep.
on, I'll explain it to you, and it'll make sense." Yeah, I do it all the damn time, and it makes sense. Like you can't, even if they're not liars. A lot of times, people don't even realize that they themselves are like that. Like for instance, if they have a defense mechanism going on, they're not aware of that. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a defense mechanism. So you have to kind of dig sometimes.
I've had personal experience with that. I mean, part of just interacting with people and such. I mean, that's
Mm.
you gotta sort through people. It's part of our defense mechanisms that we have to sort through people's actions to see if they're a threat to our way of life in a way.
Right. Well, some people consider it manipulation, and it sort of is, but I would say that it's not
Protection.
evil. It serves a purpose. And
like, you gotta know, is this person gonna kill me in my sleep? Is this person gonna poison me if they do, my food? Or are they gonna? I mean, because it's all about surviving. That's all life is. It's
Right.
just making sure I make it to the next day. And
yeah,
I mean, trusting people you're around, people are fucked up in the head. That's for sure.
yeah. Well, the
Okay.
more that I'm biased, I'm probably a little jaded compared to most, but like the more experience I get of human nature, the more I'm not really fond of humans, and the more I'm likely to be suspicious. So
It's funny as whenever I watch the Avengers, I tell people I align with Thanos.
I do too, because he looks at things through a utilitarian lens, and I don't see him as
Exactly.
evil. He's not evil.
No, because I would have done the exact same thing he did, and then became the simple farmer on a planet by
No,
myself.
Thanos was still wrong. Like
Thanos,
he's got the reality stone, so he can snap half the population of the universe out, but he
Yes.
could at the same time literally snap 200% more resources.
that's
So he
true.
wouldn't have to kill anybody.
So,
So I mean, his whole thing was, I want to kill people.
you're right. So okay,
Well, he was vengeful because of what happened to his people, and they did not listen to him. So he warned his people that if they didn't stop
he
the
did it
wastefulness,
over a whole universe.
so the
that they were
resources thing is supposed to not be like, yes, but it's implicit that he has that ability because he has the stone, but it's supposed to be deeper than that. But like, that's you being smart. But like, it's
Smart ass.
it's supposed to be that that's not an option, and he's not evil because
Exactly.
he's trying to
There's a
fix
finite space, a finite amount.
exactly. Yes,
Well,
so
it's a finite universe
he's
we live
actually
in.
being fair in that he's randomly snapping people out of existence rather
Even
than saying
his life was at
Exactly.
risk of vanishing as well. He was at the same risk as everybody else.
yeah.
Yeah.
I see it as perfectly
No,
moral.
absolutely
personally.
agree with you. Yeah.
I don't know how you can see it as perfectly moral when you are literally killing, even if it was one person. It
Uh-huh.
kind of
Killing if you're just wiping them out of
perfectly
existence. So me,
Because
I
you're not.
would have.
It's like culling.
Me,
True.
I would have made sure all the memories of that person were gone. So therefore, you wouldn't have had the people upset because nothing would have existed, as though they never existed.
I would do that too. But okay, so that
therefore-
makes it even better. But like, even if we don't get into that and say that he doesn't do that, whatever, it's still for the greater good. So what's going on? I see this as emotional reasoning. It's emotional reasoning. So you think the idea of someone dying, even one person, is like unimaginable, but it happens all the time. And sometimes a death of one person can benefit more people.
Mhm.
true, yeah. It's trolley
Like-
problem.
But yeah,
The
it's not a
soldier who gives
problem
his
to
life
me.
to save his unit.
Yeah, absolutely. But to me, so
That's
you call
somebody
it
sacrificing their own life, though. It's
Hey,
different
It
from
goes
you
back to
shooting
that
the guy
value
to
of
save him.
life
You'll
podcast.
find that many humans would sacrifice their life to save another human being because we're altruistic. when
Yeah,
it comes down to
but
it.
we're pretty clear that half the universe didn't want to sacrifice their life.
well, of course, but whether or not they want to is irrelevant if it's for the greater good.
You know what was even the
They didn't
scale
die
of
in
that universe?
pain. There was no suffering.
But even
Again.
even if there were, it would still not be wrong because it's for the greater good. I look completely through a utilitarian perspective.
Okay, you know the term mowing the lawn that Israel uses every few years, right?
No.
Every few years, they actually say out loud, we need to mow the lawn. And it means to cull the population of Gaza to keep the population down.
Okay.
Which means they go to war and they start killing people.
Yeah.
And
so
that's a very Thanos thing.
right, and that's
Good
evil.
for them,
That's
but
evil.
it's good for them.
We
But
know
that's
ethnic
true.
cleansing
But
is bad, Rack.
But do you understand at least that is not comparable to what I'm describing?
Yeah,
Exactly. Thanos is culling half of his own people as well.
Yeah,
And,
it's not.
everybody in the universe.
Exactly.
Yes.
What you haven't mentioned,
It's
which is actually
different
a
topic.
point on your side, is that Thanos
That is
thinks
doing
that
something
a lot
neutral.
of those people are suffering. They're starving, or
So
because they
you
don't have
wouldn't
the
be happy
resources. And
if
you haven't
America
mentioned that yet,
called.
but it's a point on
It
your
all
side.
comes down to whether the
that is
universe
true.
is finite or not finite. If it's not finite, then you can just increase the resources 200%. If it is finite, then you can't.
We do live
Well,
on a finite Earth
again,
with finite
infinity
resources.
stones, they're magical. I don't
Well,
see
we
any
don't
reason
know,
why they
so
can't.
it's a problem.
Yeah. Well, this is mainly just a moral. So this is what philosophers discuss all the time, and a lot of people hate it. But like, that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah. Philosophers say you can't hit a moving turtle with an arrow, and that's rubbish. I can
Aw,
walk up to a turtle and beat it to death with an arrow.
I don't know who says that, but I would say most philosophers probably do not agree with that statement.
It probably means something deeper, but I just look at it
Maybe.
on face value because I'm
what
simple.
philosopher
Oh.
said that?
I don't understand it personally, but I would find it strange if most philosophers agreed.
The turtles are really fast, actually. Now, if he
they're
said
not actually slow.
tortoise,
This is
if he
my
said
one.
tortoise, then they're slow. But a turtle is fast. Like, you ever see a snap turtle on the side of a bank? How quick they're gone.
I've never, I haven't had much experience personally.
Oh man, turtles are quick as shit. No, I mean they're quick.
Well, I got a paraplegic cat, and he's pretty fast. I'll show a video. I'll put a video one day. He's fast, and he climbs
Damn.
like the bugger with just his front paws.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he doesn't know he's paralyzed.
That's the great thing about it is like I've always said every time I get like a cat that has an amputation or something, like we are bothered by it more than they are. That like they don't give a shit. They just learn to get on.
Yep, they
Yeah,
adapt
so
and
true.
evolve. And
Yep. It's because we have the capacity for deeper thought. So we're not just we're feeling, we have empathy for one, so we're feeling it as if it were us, and we have the capacity for dread and for like looking ahead and going, oh, that's terrible. Like, what would that be like? Like they live in bliss almost. They're like always in the moment.
the hypothetical.
Yeah.
What if?
Yep. And that's part of the negative side of our nature. Like, of course, that's positive because it allows us to survive better. But
Well, I was gonna say that's a survival instinct because
right,
anticipating if there's something in the weeds, if that's just the wind
Mhm.
making the weeds move, or is that a saber-tooth tiger in the weeds?
right, and absolutely. But like anything, that thing designed for survival, which I guess you could say is everything, really, it can go too far and become a hindrance.
Oh yeah, like my own mind has fucked with me. Like I've watched Jurassic Park a lot when I was a kid. Don't go into the tall grass, the fucking velociraptors. So I'd fucking hear the grass moving, and my mind would think about velociraptors. I'd see it in my fucking mind, and then my ass would be booking it back in the house as quick as I could, just because I scared myself.
Right, right.
Or like after I watched Signs, we had cornfields everywhere, which that fucking movie took place in Pennsylvania as well. And the corn would start fucking moving, and my ass would start booking down the road quicker, thinking the aliens are coming after me or some shit.
Yeah, it's like
teenager.
that's normal, especially for that age. But like it can happen even as an adult. It's like overanalysis and like going too far into a potential future scenario. And people with anxiety, that's what anxiety is. It's like so I have it, and that happens to me all the fucking time. And it's hard to control. It's hard to, because your brain is wired to do it. Especially like if you have anxiety, it does it like times 10.
It's
So
like
you're
hitting
like,
your funny bone and not reacting.
yeah, it is. And you're like, you're always in the future, always concerned about some possible.
What if?
Yeah, absolutely.
As I tell people, I'm always looking at all the possibilities. But the thing is, once you observe a possibility and change your behavior, that future is no longer void, because valid. It becomes void because you changed that trajectory.
True, if it's something that your action or you thinking it or knowing it changes it to where it can't come true. But there's many possible things that can happen in the future that you can't really change or you don't have much influence over.
Exactly, yeah.
Those are the things that anxiety tends to prey on.
Well, except for, did you ever hear of biocentrism? Biocentrism, where you basically influence the universe with your thoughts.
No,
Oh,
but that does not
secret.
sound like something that I believe in.
Answers to
in that
Joe
book,
did a thing about it.
I would
Basically,
have to
like,
look into it.
basically, like you could feel emotionally, and like, you ever get that wherever you start thinking about a friend you haven't seen for a long time, and then all of a sudden you run into them?
I
Like,
think that that's not what's happening. I think that you do this sort of thing all the time, and it's psychology. So just like people who think they see like a certain number more frequently, your brain, like people that are like obsessed with like 330 or something, and they tend to notice it at 330. It's because their brain is, it's
looking
called
for it.
something. It's
I think I had the best example for this actually. Do you ever get a car and then all of a sudden you see everybody driving that car?
Yes, but
Yeah,
it's the same. It's the same thing. It's not actually happening. It's your brain is more. It's called. I think
Recognizing it.
it's the availability heuristic. I think, but I might have that wrong.
My
Synchronicity.
cousin used to make fun of it because we got a Jeep Liberty, and then everywhere I was like, "Oh, Liberty, Liberty!" I just noticed them fucking everywhere all of a sudden. It's just like
Yes,
it's so
I
weird.
I did the same thing with my Honda Civic, but to be fair, it's probably the most common fucking car
Well,
there
it
is.
used to be the most common. That's like the Toyota Corolla.
That's true.
I remember the
Synchronicity.
'90s and 2000s.
But again, I think it's just, I don't know this, but I really do believe that it's just psychology. It's your brain like looking for the pattern because you're primed for it. You just got a brand new car. That car is at least going to be in your mind because it's important to you. So you're going to be primed to think about it or notice it if it's elsewhere, and then you're going to think that that means something when it's not.
nothing.
I don't think it's anything.
And all it takes is one coincidence where you could say, oh, Toyota Corollas are really common, but something could happen where it's really unlikely that that thing could happen, right? And because of that one instance where, oh, this no way this was a coincidence, even though randomly it could definitely be a coincidence.
Yeah.
Then it's gonna imprint on your mind that, okay, yeah, that car is special, that number is special.
Absolutely. And that happens a lot because we suck at statistics. We suck
Yes.
at, like, it goes with like the gambling thing where people are like, if I roll this dice 10 times, I'm going to be more likely to hit that number, when the truth is every time you roll the die, it resets.
Yeah,
Like,
and you're just ignoring the negatives.
exactly.
Well, that's why I tell my
Yeah.
like when it comes to gambling, my odds are more likely I'm being struck by lightning than winning the lottery.
Yes. And that's the logical way to look at it. But they'll see it like, oh, I lost last time. This time my chances are better, when your chances are, it all depends on
I was
how many
lucky.
people are in
I
it. but-
I grew up with a mother who got scammed a lot. Do you ever have those guys that drive around selling meat out of the like
Mhm.
freezers in the back of their truck?
Yeah.
Well, I remember my mom, she bought like $300 and some dollars worth of shit, blew all her fucking money buying this crappy ass meat. I went up to my friend's house. I seen he got pretty much all the same thing, $100 And then I
Damn.
remember another time my mom, she's like, "Hey, if I send $700 to this guy, he's gonna send me $1 million." Fucking Nigerian prince scam. I mean, like,
Wow.
I didn't have to fall for this shit personally because I watched my mother do it over and over with gambling, with the scratch off tickets. Now this automated electric gambling shit. And
Well,
it's just
it gives you greater insight into the workings of these scams. But to be fair, I don't think that even if you hadn't experienced that, you would not have fallen for these things. I don't think
Well, I've
you
been
would
in
I
have.
was
serial
gullible.
schemes.
Like when I was young, because I didn't really have a necessarily somebody to guide me. I had to
Mhm.
figure out everything pretty much myself, and I was a very curious kid, so therefore figuring things out was easy. It's just I had to go and figure these things out, and a lot of the things fucking suck. Like, don't get drunk and mouth off to the wrong person; you're gonna get punched in the face.
That's true, and I can relate to that as well, because a lot of people will be like, "Dude, you're the stupidest smart person I've ever met." And what
Yeah,
they mean
exactly.
by that is what they consider common sense. I put that in quotation, in air quotes. Common sense is all just like all it means is many people have been in a situation, or
Familiar
it's commonly
information.
known. Yes, it's familiar shit that happens to most people, but it's still dependent on your environment and having experienced it. If you haven't,
I was sheltered.
exactly,
for a long.
I was similar. And that's the thing. So, like, if you haven't experienced it don't mean you're stupid. It just means you hadn't fucking experienced it.
Exactly. Yep.
My
And I
best
had a
friend,
lot of those moments.
my best friend told me, Mal, you were never sick, just didn't know anything.
Right.
That's pretty much me now. Like, I understand Socrates. I know I'm the smartest person here because I know that I know nothing.
Yeah, and that's a great way to look at life because you're always growing. The moment you think you're a fucking genius and like you have a tendency to like subconsciously detract from information that you could gain. Because like why would you be looking for shit when you think you already fucking know it all? It's
Well, and here's another thing that keeps me humble, I think of at times, is there's an old Chinese quote. It's don't correct a stupid person. They'll only get angry with you. Correct a wise man and he'll thank you.
that is true.
So whenever people correct me, I try to think, I thank this person. Thank you. You have corrected my misinformation in a way, and try to always be humble about that and not get angry because sometimes, yeah, you're like, God damn, I was so fucking stupid. And they correct you and you're just mad because you're stupid.
Yes.
That's so stupid.
Well, usually when that happens, if that happens with me, I'm not angry at them. I'm angry at myself because
But you
I'm
sometimes
hard.
lash
I'm
out at
very hard
others.
on. That's true, but it's not intentional. It's like they happen to be
Exactly.
there, and like I'm like fuck, or like it's like
I have a bad
they're an
temper.
unintended target.
I'm that quiet person that you don't want to make mad, but whenever I fucking do fucking blow, I'm very fucking loud and very just rude, straight up. Just I'll tell you you're a fucking pussy and you want to fight and shit, like get up in your face, like.
I'm very similar in that I have a long fuse and I'm quiet and
Yeah.
like I don't talk much, but I don't talk a lot when I'm angry. I go straight to action. I go from
Oh, me, I
like
intimidate
nothing
the
to
fuck
like
out of people.
I'll be thinking about shooting somebody and I'm highly likely to actually do it. And it's not good because it's not smart. It's like
See,
I don't think about consequences when I reach that state.
See, now this is where my visualizing things helps because when somebody really pisses me off a lot, I can pull them right into my mind and I can sit there like they're right in front of me and just pound the fucking shit out of them and get that out of my system. So it's like, it feels like I beat the shit out of them with zero consequences.
That reminds me of something. It's slightly related but different. Is this thing that we've been told forever about venting? It's pseudoscientific. It's bullshit. Like when you you go beat up like a fucking punching bag or something, and it releases. It don't do that. It actually just makes the fire grow stronger. It does not.
Exactly. It gets you madder.
But I didn't know. I always thought that there was truth to it until I learned, and then I'm like, well, fuck, that was fucking waste.
I was always told count to 10. Just take a time out and just count to 10 to cool the fuck off.
Yeah, that's actually useful.
Yeah,
but Star Trek tells us that venting is actually, it is good. I mean, okay, I know it's a lot of pseudoscience in there, but they go on the holodeck, and that person they hate, they beat them up, they torture them, they do all that kind of sick stuff in the holodeck.
Yeah,
and that's like the punching bag thing, and they say it works.
I think that's just buying into the myth. Like, if what the science shows is that it actually activates the same areas that are govern anger more. It gets more activated, so it fuels rather than like dissipates the anger.
What I found that works the best is literally speaking the thoughts that you're thinking. So get that anger just off your mind and literally speak it into existence, and it literally goes away from your mind, and you feel at ease. Like just verbalizing all this shit that's
I could see that. That's a little different. That's sort of venting, but it's more just,
so instead of it swimming in your head, you actually just give it reality, basically, like vocalizing it. It don't have to be to anybody, really. You can go out in the fucking woods and just fucking tell it to the trees,
I
and
can
you
see
feel
that.
better.
But the way I would describe that is what you're actually doing is you're sort of accepting rather than it's about how you perceive what you're saying that matters. So you could say exactly what you're thinking in an angry way, and it's going to fuel the fire. But you can let it out and sort of accept it. And that's sort of what they try to teach you in like dialectical behavior therapy. I know because I'm in this crazy person classes. But
Man,
I think that's the important thing is the way you think it. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I've had basically a person come to the house, like my own counselor from 10th grade. I had a teacher grab a hold of me. I had one teacher said, "Hey, go in the other room and just do something until I call you to do your spelling test." And I was reading a Mortal Kombat freaking guide, and this other teacher comes there and rips it out of my hand. Well, without thinking, I said, "You fucking bitch."
Yeah,
I would have been angry. I never cursed before. Like I was one of those good kids, like cursing. You didn't do that. And I just said, "Fucking bitch." And then she grabbed a hold of my arm and fucking left claw marks all fucking around my arm, like dug her nails into me. I fucking ripped my arm free, fucking took my desk, flipped it into the wall. Fucking they're dragging me out. I kicked a chair, flew across the room, hit a girl in the back of the
head. That's how I would have reacted. And mainly because you can't see it coming because she caught you off guard. Like exactly. It's all of a sudden. And that is when you're most prone to anger. I would have probably hit her.
Well, I broke her watch. Apparently, I assaulted her. I got thrown out of school for 3 months, put on probation, went to court, was fined like $5,000 fine. I was a 10-year-old kid.
Say that again. I got distracted.
I was 10 years old when they fucking did that to me. Fucking probation. Suspended me from school for 3 months. So like they just wanted me gone. I wasn't allowed on the premises. I was a monster, but that teacher grabbed a hold of me. She was there until she retired.
Racing through the heart of Reaper territory, but it's the fastest way to the bounty. Good luck.
Turn the volume down on that.
What is that road rash?
So from that point on, I had a counselor basically. I've seen every week for all the way through elementary school, high school. So that's where I learned a lot of my techniques because I always got backed in the fucking corners, and then I got mad because I'm getting backed into a fucking corner.
That's how I am so I think a lot of times is teachers don't understand you. And when you don't understand people, sometimes you get hostile because you kind of fear what you don't understand. And so teachers would like fuck with me. And I'm the type of person where I'm quiet. I leave you alone. I expect you to fucking leave me alone. And if you keep pushing me, I'm going to lose it. And so
that's my motto is don't start shit. There will be no shit.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's it. And so early on, I had to go through anger management. And I'll say one thing. To me, there's nothing that makes me angrier than fucking anger management. It's like at least the way they do it, and it might have just been my experience, but they taught me this thing. The first thing they taught me pissed me off. It was 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me? And when the woman said that, my face got fucking beat red and like veins were I was like, what the fuck? Like, oh my God.
You feel she's treating like a child, which feels condescending. And to me, when I work at a factory, dude, it is literally like working at a fucking high school. It's like dealing with cliques and fucking people high on ego because they're like some kind of jock they were like 20 years ago and they still think they're fucking special.
Yeah.
Like it's dealing with fucking children basically. Like, and I think of that quote. Well, I think of the Eleanor Roosevelt quote where stupid people talk about each other. The average people talk about events, and intelligent people talk about ideas. So I kind of think about that. I'm like, these motherfuckers are all stupid because they're all in here just talking about each other.
Was that Eleanor Roosevelt?
Yep.
Because that's like one of the biggest quotes ever. I didn't know she was the first one to say it.
Yep. I put her name with it because I quote it quite a bit.
Oh, I didn't know who said it.
First female president?
No, she was the wife of. She was the first lady.
Yeah, but wasn't she running the show
Teddy,
when
Teddy Roosevelt.
I don't know if she was if you're saying that she was actually running the show, because some people say the same thing about Hillary Clinton. I don't know.
No, it was sort of like because he was kind of in a coma, and they bring all these papers and stuff and deals and stuff, and she would say, "I will," he told me to say this, he told me to say that, but he was in a coma, and I don't know if it's Roosevelt or a different president. I don't know your president.
That was Ronald Reagan.
Was it?
Nah, no, earlier. It was before that. It was one of the old presidents.
That was Nancy Reagan, because Ronald Reagan is the one that had like the stroke, and he was in a wheelchair for his last like year or two, and then Nancy Reagan pretty much ran the White House. Which is
Okay,
funny.
I'll look it up. I know it's from the history, one of the history videos somewhere. I'll look it up. I'll post it later.
I find it so funny because Republicans bitching and crying about Biden's age and how his health is versus Ronald Reagan, who was literally a fucking vegetable in a wheelchair for like 2 years of his presidency, couldn't do a fucking thing, but yet that was fine.
Because people liked him. That was the big thing. And I don't understand why, because he destroyed the country more than anyone.
He was a con man. Well,
yeah.
He was an actor.
Yeah, he was charismatic, and he made people believe that he was after their interests. But he was fucking such a lying piece of shit.
I mean, he told the Iranian.
You mean he was on TV shows like the current president?
Yep.
Yep.
I find it even funnier because the right-wing media sphere, they say about Hollywood is so evil and everything, but yet they've now elected 2 people from Hollywood, Trump and Ronald Reagan.
And you would think that we would learn from the first time, like maybe it's a bad idea to get people that have absolutely no fucking clue about politics and have them the fucking leader of what we call the free world. Like, might be a bad idea.
You see more of the election voter fraud thing.
I saw the first time you popped it up. I haven't seen the other things that you've added.
I think we're going to end up with a court case because they're probably compiling all the evidence. They're going to go through everything before they bring it before a court, and then hopefully, because they're already filing impeachment for Trump.
Right. That makes sense. So I hope they do.
Well, right now they're seeing such irregularities across like all our states, like Pennsylvania, the swing states.
Mm-hmm. So the question would be, is it going to be any better if we end up with JD fucking Vance? Is it going to be any better?
I think there's just been too much damage already done to where it's going to take us a generation to rebuild what we lost.
I agree with that. And that's if we even head in the right direction. It will take that long if we actually care and start trying to fix the problems. But there's at least a possibility that won't even happen. We
need the boomers to die.
I hate to say it, but yeah, that's a good part of it.
They won't give up the reins of power to anybody. They're 80-some years old, and they're still on the grips of power, and they should have passed it on to their children a long time ago.
And they're all stuck in this neoliberal fucking ideology bullshit that they've fed in. Even the left, like they're on the same shit with Reagan. Like it don't make any fucking sense.
They all bought their house for $10,000. Now it's worth $4 million. They're all set. They're good, and they don't care about anybody else but themselves. They don't feel compassion or empathy for their fellow man whatsoever. They think they deserve and entitled to everything.
In general, yeah.
That's killing the country right there.
Yep, and it's a big part of why we are where we are right now.
And Generation X is just sitting there, kind of like, what the fuck's going on here? Because there aren't, usually companies would get handed down to the next generation, but now you just have these old guys that just will not give up. Like the guy who owned Fox, Rupert Murdoch, he just now stepped down at like 90-some years old.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a mafia.
Yep.
It's fucked.
And
look at this land. There's this land that I'm on right now, and I own half of it. My dad bought this about 40, maybe 50 years ago for, I think it was 120 or 160 ringgit. That's, to you guys, probably about $20.
Damn.
And now it's worth 2 million.
Yep.
Jeez.
I mean, it was cheap to buy things back then. So yeah, I totally
Well,
agree with you on the boomers and
it's
stuff.
not so much. It's like here in America, it's the dollar loss value. So back in the old days, $10,000, that was what you made in a year. But you could buy a house for what you made in a year. $10,000 because our dollar was stronger, it was worth more. But the more we had to print the dollar, the more we had to expand it and keep more bonds, which makes more debt. It devalues it, so therefore the dollar's worth less, so therefore it takes more dollars to buy the same thing.
Not to mention, right now it's becoming devalued anyway because most countries are starting to move away, which means it's gonna be like a landslide. It's not only what Gad just described; it's going to be that on top of it's going to lose all of its value because it's no longer the global currency anymore.
Well, and everybody's going to lose faith in it because it's a fiat currency, which is faith-based. It's not backed by anything.
Absolutely. And so just the couple that are started and have already done is going to cause the rest of the world to lose more faith, of course. And then it's going to cascade. It's going to hit like fucking hard all at
the
once.
Word choice I wanted to cascade. I was like, say cascade. Yep.
Yeah.
It's
already happened. It's like there's no avoiding it at this point. It's going to happen. So I don't know if it's good or not that we're kind of pushing it to happen now. I don't know.
What I see is we're gonna have a restabilization of America. So basically, our military is not gonna get the funding it did. So once everything starts collapsing here, you're gonna. Sorry, but your state's gonna probably go bankrupt here in a
I'm
couple
sure.
months.
I already know. And like, I don't look at things about me. Like, I'm looking at the bigger picture. Like me personally, it's not that important. But
They're
you're
gonna
right.
have to direct so much money from like the military budget, which is like $900 billion, to pick up where they lost all that revenue.
Right.
You think?
Yep. Absolutely. There's no way around it. And any red state is going to get fucked. And it's already happening. They've lost their revenue. Like a big part was like Medicaid wasn't. We talked about this before. It's not just about healthcare. It's about funding states as well. And all of the rural areas and especially red states are getting fucked royally. So it's funny because the Republicans are hurting Republicans more than anyone else.
Well, and other countries.
I know that you guys
targeting tariffs toward red states.
Mm-hmm.
You guys blame Trump, okay? But I know that on a different level, you understand Trump is not in charge. Whoever's trying, or the people who are trying to ruin America are not Trump. Trump is transactional. You give him some money, he'll do whatever you.
So
right?
So okay, there's two parts here is what I would say to that. So yes, there are people that are bigger than Trump that are pulling strings, and Trump's doing what they want. However, Trump being who Trump is, he is making it worse because he wants to make himself as rich as possible in the process. So he's also being a narcissist and going like, oh, I don't want to do that. Even if like the elites want him to do something, he's like, no, I'm going to do this instead because he's an idiot and thinks he knows better than anyone. So it's kind of it's
on the wall.
Yeah, it's both. It's like it's the worst of all possible things, in my opinion.
I've got no argument with what you just said. That's actually absolutely correct as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
The thing is, when you say that they're going to defund the U.S. military, the U.S. military makes a lot of people, well, a few people, a lot of money.
Yes.
So defunding that is taking away from the people who actually are probably in control.
Right. So what we have so far, I can only go by what I see right now. Gad might be talking about something else. I don't know, but I don't see that happening. In fact, he wants to build Golden Dome, which is a massive, huge military project.
That's
yeah.
That's exactly. So when Eisenhower left the presidency, he said, "Watch out for the military-industrial complex."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So right now it's Halliburton, Raytheon, Boeing, and there's a couple more. They rake in billions.
Those fucking bastards, Halliburton.
they take in billions of tax dollars, and they're the ones making all the jets, the subs, and all this
Mhm.
shit. Like the military stuff is, marked up 100 to 1,000% on everything.
Yep. It's why we can't pass a fucking military audit.
Yep, we're paying 10,000 for a 50-cent washer.
Yep. And everybody knows it. It's not even hidden.
A Halliburton employee killed a policeman over here, and he got away with it. And he's not even a big shot Halliburton employee. He was just some specialist from Singapore. Came over to Malaysia, ran over a policeman while he was drunk, got away with it because Halliburton, even over here, is so powerful.
See, and now you see why I don't trust in justice with the system. I have to have my own justice because the fucking system's broke.
Yeah, money.
They're the kind of people that can just black bag people and nobody asks us questions.
Yeah. And that's why I believe in vigilantism. People don't agree with it, but I don't care. It's the only fucking way.
But then that's even worse because they're going to have the special forces trained guys that will just disappear you quicker than anybody.
I know, but not me. What I'm saying is, I'm talking about like a large portion of the population agreeing with the same idea, and then I think that it would force things to change.
I do understand your Rodriguez point. Like fully, if he didn't harm children or women, have at it. But maybe if he had a sidekick where that was a woman that could fuck up bad women, I'd be 100% down.
I don't have this like a man hitting a woman is inherently evil. I think that's honor that's been like put into us.
I'm still kind of chivalrous, so
I don't agree with that.
It's like if they hit me, like if you straight up come up and hit me in the face, all bets are off, baby. I'm going at you.
Okay, so maybe
I'm holding back.
Maybe we agree.
I'm gonna hold back a little bit. I'm not gonna full force it because my strength is probably 10 times what theirs would be.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I would do the same thing to a man that was way smaller. Like
yeah, exactly.
There's
You're not trying to kill somebody. You're trying
to me, the gender does not come into the equation at all. It's not a factor.
I'll tell you a story. The old lady. One time, her and I got in an argument. I went and sat in the car, and she came in there and started yelling at me. I was just like, "Leave me alone!" I like pushed on her shoulder. She spun around, just started kicking me in the face. I took about 4 boot feet right to the face.
No, I would be going all out.
She fell out the other side. I walked around, spit in her fucking face, and I was like dragging her up. She's there like kicking and screaming like a psychopath. I'm like, "Shut up! I didn't even hurt you." And she's
yeah,
and
you're less chivalrous than you think.
I gave her just one good, just quick jab right to the fucking nose, and she just stopped.
It sounds like a typical Karen type woman, and like she thinks she's entitled to do shit just because she's a woman, and then she tries to cause a scene when you actually do something back, like she's a fucking victim.
Well, when she doesn't have the upper ground,
right? And I don't deal with that shit either.
Okay, Gad. I was at this thing. It was a pyramid scheme basically, but my wife was involved and she was a big shot there. I was a big shot because I was the money man who bought into the pyramid scheme. So we're doing the business, we're selling the product and all that kind of stuff at this meeting and whatnot. And she's treating me like I'm the guy who has to go and get coffee and stuff. So I'm a bit pissed off. We're driving home. You know, I'm driving her home in the middle of this traffic jam. And she looks over at me. It's like, "Why are you pissed off?" And it's like, "Why do you treat me like that? You know, I'm part of this business too. I'm supporting you. Why are you doing this?" And she starts wailing on me in the middle of, we're driving very slowly because it's a traffic jam. So I put out my hand to her head and just hold her at arm's length.
I would have punched her.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. I did not punch her, but she felt so offended. I defended myself by just holding her at arm's length. She jumps out of the car and it's like, "I'm going to call the police." La la la. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I end up circling the block and looking for her. She's gone off somewhere, and it's like, okay, fine, I go home.
Yeah, that's the sort of entitlement I'm talking about.
I got another one for you. There's the very first one I remember. I was on playing World of Warcraft. And I was talking to somebody, and I said something that pissed her off. Well, all of a sudden I felt something brush against the back of my head. I'm like, "What the fuck was that?" And then all of a sudden a thud just right in the back of the head. She fucking punched me in the back of the head. I fucking stood up. I fucking took my headset off, threw it. Well, here I hit my fucking weed plant. Fucking snapped my weed plant in half. I was like, oh, god damn it.
I'd have been pissed.
I picked up this big. I was eating like vegetables and with ranch dressing. I had a big bowl of ranch dressing. I like picked it up, turned around, and just dumped it on her head, and then just walked away while I looked her in the eyes.
Okay, that's fine. I think that one's okay.
I think I would do the same. I would do the same in that situation. So it's different when they're in your face and they're like trying to hit you and shit. In that case,
Yeah, they're actually hitting you. Yeah.
If that's happening, all bets are off, and it's the same as if you're a dude.
I'd like the hit was so pathetic though. I couldn't have been mad because it didn't hurt at all. It was just like, what the fuck
Yeah.
was that?
I probably would have done the same.
On the flip side, see, I was walking to work with my mates, and we met these girls in the town. And one of my mates kept pestering the girl, pestering the girl, pestering the girl. In the end, she got fed up and threw him across the road. And he landed in front of the cafe on his ass. And he sat there with blood coming out of his nose. And he shouted across the street, Mal, he said, I think I'm in love.
Yeah, they're a little different in the UK, especially the Welsh
Olympic taekwondo types, you know.
Like Tracy would do the same thing. You know Tracy Millington, she'd do the same fucking thing.
So I guess what I should say is, if a woman does that, I'm going to attempt to defend myself, because there's a good chance they might whoop my ass.
No, I'm gonna marry that one.
I do. I agree. I agree, and I'm weird. I'm sort of a masochist to an extent when it comes to women. I love a woman that will kick my ass. I don't know why.
Well, at least when it's like can fight back.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah,
like I don't want to fight nobody.
Anyway.
But
I don't know. I kind of like it. Like not like abusive, but like
you like sparring. You want to spar.
Yes, it's sort of like how I like debating. I like that friction at all times. It makes life interesting. I don't know why. It's just my
I like
thing.
one where you can be rough with. Like if you want to, you could just start wrestling with them in the backyard, and
yes.
You know, you could actually have a fun time and not hurt them.
Yes, I agree. Not like harming people.
Because my
it's more like
man used to always saying, growing old's mandatory, growing up's optional.
Yes, and I'll always be like, there's so many people that ruin their lives, in my opinion, because they feel like this is what their expectations are for adults in this area. Like, fuck that. Like
90% of Chinese kids. Remember, do math.
Yeah. It's even worse for some, like Japan. Like, but like we still have it to a different extent, and I think it just fucks people up. Like, there's nothing not adult about having fun, about fucking playing video games, about whatever the fuck you want to do. Like, it just makes me mad that people.
You're not gonna get a chance to be a kid again.
Right.
Do it.
Right. But you don't have to be a kid, is sort of the point. Like, you can always do those things. You can do it now.
So there's a lot of things you can do as a kid that if you do it as an adult, you get in trouble.
That's true.
So, you want to get some of the bad shit out of your system while you're young, before you're 18. Then you try it as an adult.
What I had was, as a kid, was in 30 minutes. I could do loads of stuff for my mates in 30 minutes.
Like
and then when I grew up and I had 30 minutes, there's no point. I can't be bothered. I haven't got time.
You always will find time to do the things you want to do.
I mean, in nature, like, playing is utilitarian for, like, the kittens and the puppies to learn stuff. But adult cats still play. Adult dogs still play.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that is lost. I mean, it seems to be something that's perfectly natural across the board, except maybe insects or something. But
Yeah, I got a fat brown thing next to me. He gets all zoomy sometimes, and he's gray in the face. So he's old.
A fat brown thing? Is it a turd?
Oh no, it's that dog. It's not the black one that you didn't see.
Oh, right, the dog. Okay. I thought you shot yourself.
I showed Josh a picture of the dogs one day, and there's both dogs laying there. One's black and one's brown. And he's like, "Oh, what's his name?" And he only saw the brown one. He didn't see the black one.
Yeah, my eyes are terrible, so
Blame it on your eyes.
I've got excuses for everything.
Calm down, cats. I need to frickin' roll anyway. I've got cats whining that it's past time for them to eat, and it's been over 3 hours too. So
Oh yeah, it has.
yeah,
Been a good fast session.
time always flies whenever we're on StreamYard for whatever reason. It's fun.
Getting all philosophical and stuff.
Yeah. So, well, it's funny because some people, like, you start talking about deep shit and they're like, this is so boring. To me, that's the only time I'm invested. Like, I can't talk about weather and shit. And
that's like the Eleanor Roosevelt quote. I mean, we just are what we are.
Right.
We talk about ideas versus. I mean, we do talk about events. I mean, that's.
Well, we talk about people too, to an extent, but I would wager that's not what she meant, because we're talking about a person that has drastic consequences for the world.
Well, exactly, because what they do is that person causes events, which then are,
right.
Then
absolutely.
we got a hypothetical, about events, what will come because of his actions.
Right.
So they're chained together in a series.
It's true. It's true. But anyhow, I will be back next week unless I oversleep or do some kind of fucking crazy shit. You guys take
I'll try and get a
easy.
better microphone.
All right.
You seem fine right now, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, it's working good now.
Because it's Saturday and everybody's using the Wi-Fi. The whole neighborhood is using the Wi-Fi. Yeah. Okay.
Well, appreciate it, guys.
Thanks
Have
for
a good
having
one.
me on.
No
Awesome.
problem.
See you later.